Chapter 666, The Show Begins. _5. No, no, no. Chen Weiya shook his head immediately, knelt on the ground with a thud, picked up a thick vine from the ground and held it in his hand. Granny, I'm here to apologize. Sorry, Granny. I was blind before, a toad craving after swan meat. I will never dare to do it again. I beg your mercy, please spare me this time. And Ai Yang slightly squints her eyes. What is happening? Why did Chen Weiya change his behavior? Could it be Mo Kishin's work? Interesting. And Ai Yang picked up the vine with a faint smile. In fact, Chen Weiya is not entirely to blame for this after all, it was Shangguan Farong who took the initiative. By law, Chen Weiya can be considered an accomplice at most. Chen Weiya, you haven't been shy of forcing yourself on innocent girls in the past, have you? No, no. Chen Weiya shook his head immediately. I swear, Granny. I have never forced anyone, all those women were with me voluntarily. And Ai Yang didn't say much else, she just broke the vine she had been holding in her hand with a simple snap. Chen Weiya, if you ever do anything disgraceful in the future, this broken vine will be your fate. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New Omicron. The vine is half an arm thick and quite resilient. It would be impossible for an ordinary person to break it with one hand. Chen Weiya's moral compass was reset again, he was so scared he began to kowtow. I will never do it again. Granny, I promise I will never do it again. Get out. And Ai Yang's red lips spoke lightly. Thank you, Granny, for your mercy. I'm leaving now. Chen Weiya seemed like he had received amnesty, picked up his knee, curled up into a ball and rolled away. And Ai Yang, just then an Ai Kuihua's voice came from inside the house. Yang, who is it outside? And Ai Yang responded, just a passerby asking for directions. Zhao family. Shangguan Farong has been in an extremely bad mood these days. If Shangguan Dehui had been with Lin Fang from the beginning, none of this would have happened. It's all in Ai Kuihua's fault. All her fault. Seeing Shangguan Farong in such a bad mood, both the old lady of the Zhao family and Zhao Shen were treading on eggshells around her, fearing they might add fuel to the fire. Just then Lin Fang walked in from outside. She first greeted the old lady and Zhao Shen and then came upstairs. Farong. After her active approach last time, their friendship has grown rapidly. Now she was free to come and go in the Zhao family's house. With her gentle character, even the servants of the Shangguan family liked her. Shangguan Farong, being a proud person, ignored Lin Fang, especially since she had been annoyed recently. Why are you here? Lin Fang did not get upset and said with a smile, Farong, I came to give you a present. What present? Shangguan Farong finally looked at Lin Fang with a hint of interest. This for you. Lin Fang took a black card out of her bag and handed it to Shangguan Farong. The black card was pitch black with gold lines as decoration on the edges, and the 4 characters, National Beauty and Heavenly Fragrance on the left side. It looked very upscale and classy. What is this? Shangguan Farong asked. This is a membership card of National Beauty and Heavenly Fragrance. Lin Fang continued, Farong, haven't you always wanted their membership card? This one is for you. The National Beauty and Heavenly Fragrance membership card costs 888 yuan each. Obviously Lin Fang couldn't afford one, not to mention it was limited edition. This black card was given to her by a mysterious person who claimed to want to help her. Is this really a membership card from National Beauty and Heavenly Fragrance? Shangguan Farong looked at Lin Fang in surprise. Lin Fang nodded. Farong, given our relationship, do you think I would lie to you? Thank you then. Shangguan Farong suppressed the excitement in her heart. She was someone who had seen big scenes, how could she just show her emotions so easily? But she was really excited. With the National Beauty and Heavenly Fragrance's membership card, she could now take that group of card-playing friends to their 3rd floor for a surprise. By then they will be so envious of her. Seeing Shangguan Farong like this, Lin Fang smirked and then said, Farong, I have things to do at home, I won't bother you anymore. Wait a moment. Shangguan Farong called out to Lin Fang. What's the matter? Lin Fang turned around to look at Shangguan Farong. Shangguan Farong opened a jewelry box and casually pulled out a necklace. I bought this necklace a long time ago and only wore it once, now I'm giving it to you. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 667, The Show Begins. _6. Lin Fang declined. Farong, I can't accept it. I only gifted you the membership card because I felt we had a strong connection, Not because I'm after your stuff. Just take it. Shengguan Furong was not one to be petty. Helplessly, Lin Fang accepted it. After Lin Fang left, Shengguan Furong also departed the Zhao household. With Shengguan Furong's departure, the atmosphere in the Zhao house instantly lightened. The smile had returned to Grandma Zhao's face. Lin Fang, who had previously left, returned moments later. This time she held a thermos to her hand. Grandma, I heard you often have headaches. I made you some gastrodia chicken soup specially. It's very good for the head. Lin Fang removed the lid from the thermos and ladled out a bowl of soup for Grandma Zhao. Thank you, Xiaolin. The old lady accepted the soup with a face full of smiles. As the matriarch of the Zhao family, was she lacking in chicken soup? What she lacked was a gesture of kindness. Shengguan Furong had never once shown such filial piety. Lin Fang was really wonderful. She was kind, gentle, and understanding. Source: web novel. Com. Updated on N0 New Omicron. Omicron WHY hadn't Zhao Xin met such a good person? Grandma Furong and I are good friends. Making you a bowl of soup is no big deal, I just hope you don't mind, Lin Fang said. Look at you talking like that. I'm more than happy to have it. Why would I mind? Grandma Zhao drained the bowl of soup in one gulp. The taste of the gastrodia was slightly bitter, so Lin Fang promptly handed over a piece of honey loquat. Grandma Zhao took it, laughing. Xiaolin, you're a really thoughtful child. Lin Fang replied, maybe because I'm used to being around children a lot. I got used to it. Grandma Zhao nodded approvingly. Not long after Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing, the two siblings arrived home from school. Zijuan, Ziqing. Auntie Lin Fang. The siblings immediately rushed over to greet her. They seemed more excited to see her than their own mother. Shengguan Furong was often harsh to others, including her own children. This led to the siblings being quite fearful of Shengguan Furong and not very close to her. Lin Fang then opened the second layer of her lunchbox. Zijuan, Ziqing, didn't you two say last time that you liked Auntie's dumplings? I specially made some for you today. Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing, who were 10 and 8 years old respectively, really relished treats. Thank you, Auntie Lin Fang. The siblings immediately started wolfing down the dumplings. The dumplings were delicious. Despite them being only minced pork and leek dumplings, they were irresistible. Plus, they were beautifully made. Auntie Lin Fang, you're so amazing. With a modest smile, Lin Fang said, it's just a plate of dumplings. If you two like it, I can make them more often and bring them over to you. Really? The siblings looked at her, stunned. Of course. Lin Fang nodded. Zhao Ziqing said, Auntie Lin Fang, I wish you were our mother so my brother and I could have these delicious dumplings every day. Zhao Zijuan, sensing this comment might be inappropriate, pulled at Zhao Ziqing's sleeve. Zhao Ziqing asked, Brother, why are you pulling me? I didn't say anything wrong. Our mother doesn't even like us. Would be better off with Auntie Lin Fang being our mother. Zhao Zijuan was 2 years older than Zhao Ziqing and more sensible. Even though their mother wasn't very attentive to them, a mother is, after all, a mother. The speaker may not mean it, but the listener may take it to heart. A flash of light glowed in Grandma Zhao's eyes. Lin Fang approached. Ziqing, you can't just say whatever you want. If your mother heard it, she will be heartbroken. Let her be heartbroken. Zhao Ziqing responded nonchalantly. Lin Fang continued, Promise, Auntie, you won't say such things anymore, otherwise Auntie won't come to see you too. Perhaps the last sentence scared Zhao Ziqing, who nodded and said, Okay, I won't say it. In her heart, however, she truly wished that Lin Fang was her mother. Shengguan Furong invited Jia Xinjun, Zhao Yun, and Su Manlin to Gus Tianxiang. The four women met at the entrance of Gus Tianxiang. Jia Xinjun asked, Furong, don't tell me you really have a membership card for Gus Tianxiang? Of course, Shengguan Furong took out the black card and flaunted it. See, isn't this it? Jia Xinjun took the black card while the others immediately huddled around to take a look. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 668, The Show Begins. _7 Zhao Yun said, I've seen the Gus Tianxiang membership card from my friend. It's exactly the same as this one. My gosh. Furong, you're just too amazing. Shengguan Furong, with a smile, said, Isn't it just a card? It's no big deal to me. This membership card perfectly satisfied Shengguan Furong's vanity. She was used to being dominant at home, so she wanted to take control no matter the occasion. Jia Xinjun sighed, As I thought, we all really have to rely on Furong. Exactly, Furong is indeed amazing. Shangguan Furong, who had been depressed for several days, also began to cheer up at this moment. With the membership card, they were able to ascend to the third floor smoothly without queuing. The decoration on the third floor completely stunned the four of them. It was not until they reached the third floor that they realized there was a special menu for VIP customers. The dishes and desserts on the menu were all new to them, such as mango pudding, fruit salad and such. Shangguan Furong ordered a table full of dishes and desserts with an indomitable spirit. Source: web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New. The four of them spent over 5 hours on the third floor. In the middle they even played a game of mahjong before leaving the third floor. Just as they left their private room, Shangguan Furong saw a familiar figure. Was that Anai Yang? What was Anai Yang doing wiping a vase? Wasn't she selling noodles? How did she end up at Gus Tianxiang doing menial work? Shangguan Furong squinted her eyes, looked around and already had an answer in her heart. Anyone who could come to the third floor of Gus Tianxiang wouldn't be of low status. Anai Yang really did have grand ambitions. She turned down the introduction to Chen Weiye, yet she fawningly did odd jobs at Gus Tianxiang. She's really shameless. Furong, what are you looking at? Jia Jinjin curiously looked at Shangguan Furong. Nothing. Shangguan Furong withdrew her gaze, just having a look. Oh. Jia Jinjin nodded. Let's go then. The group headed downstairs together. Gus Tianxiang was always full of guests every day, so Anai Yang didn't notice Shangguan Furong. After she finished wiping the vase, she handed the rag to a waiter beside her and said, "The most taboo thing in the catering industry is sanitation problems. From now on, this vase should be cleaned daily. The standard is that no dust can be seen when it is wiped with a white cloth." "All right, I know." The waiter behind her nodded. Then Anai Yang found Gulanji. Even though Gulanji was much older than Anai Yang in terms of age, she truly admired Anai Yang. This young, slender girl was just too impressive. At first, she and everyone else didn't think highly of Gus Tianxiang's future. She only agreed to work here because of the high salary of more than 300 yuan. She never expected that Gus Tianxiang's business would become so booming someday. It became the target of imitation for everyone in the catering industry. Working here gave her a sense of superiority. Anai Yang said, "Sister Lanji, from now on, there should be a sanitary inspection in the restaurant every 3 days. Then we will rate them as ABC. A class will be rewarded 30 yuan each, B class 10 yuan each and C class will be rewarded 1 yuan. The restaurant had 3 floors which were divided into 3 zones, A, B, and C. The sanitation conditions of these 3 zones could be compared with each other. As the saying goes, no reward, no motivation. A restaurant should not ignore sanitation just because the food and service are good and business is booming. Anai Yang's standard is, there is no best, only better. Gulanji had no objections to Anai Yang's proposal. She nodded and said, "All right, Yang, I got it. Yang, you have a call." A waiter hurried over. In the restaurant, everyone called Anai Yang. Originally, everyone used to call her boss. But they felt that calling her boss wasn't nice and calling her Anai was too stiff, so they asked everyone to call her Yang instead. All right. Anai Yang went over to answer the phone. Yang. The person on the other end of the line was Anai Tsuehua. "Mom, what's the matter?" Anai Yang asked. Anai Tsuehua continued, Yang, Annie and Emily are here. Can you come home now? All right. Anai Yang hung up the phone, said a word to Gulanji and went home. It was already cold in November. Anai Yang put on a purple coat as she walked along. The coat was of a slim fit design, and there were 2 pearls for embellishment on the cuffs. Anai Yang hurried out, not noticing that one of the pearls slid off the cuff. A man wearing an old-fashioned gown passed by her. The pearl happened to roll to the man's feet. The man squatted down, picked up the pearl and looked back. The road outside was bustling with people, and her figure was no longer seen. "What are you looking at, Mr. Du?" asked Wang Ziki. Mr. Du coughed lightly with his fist against his lips. "Nothing." The 2 men walked inside. "Do you have a membership card?" A waiter dressed in Hanfu immediately greeted them. "Membership card?" Wang Ziki furrowed his brows in confusion. The waiter politely said, "All the seats are taken inside. If you don't have a membership card, please follow me to wait for meal." "What is a membership card?" Mr. Du asked softly. Mr. Du seemed like a character who walked out of an old movie. He was thin, wearing an old-fashioned gown. His shoes were cloth, and despite his ordinary attire and gentle brows and eyes, he gave off an impression that he was no ordinary man. The waiter explained the membership card to Mr. Du in great detail. "Can we also apply for one?" Mr. Du inquired next. I'm really sorry, there are no extra spots for membership cards right now. The waiter looked apologetic. What did you say? Wang Ziki frowned slightly and stepped forward. Perhaps having stayed in Shanghai for a long time, Wang Ziki still carried a certain air of lawlessness. In Shanghai, no one dared to reject Mr. Du like this, who treated Mr. Du with anything but respect. Ziki. Mr. Du spoke softly. Mr. Du. Wang Ziki toned down his aggressiveness somewhat. Let's go over there and wait. The waiter breathed a sigh of relief. Please follow me. The two of them went to the waiting area. Mr. Du was elegantly sipping tea. Wang Ziki walked from the lobby to the inner hall, and then back to Mr. Du. Mr. Du, I don't think this is fourth Miss style. Mr. Du laughed lightly. She's not that clever. He then asked, how's the investigation going? When can we find the person? Wang Ziki showed a troubled expression. Mr. Du, this matter can't be rushed. The smile on Mr. Du's face slowly faded. After a while he asked again, is it really that hard to find a person? His voice was still gentle, but it carried an oppressive feeling. Wang Ziki steeled himself and said, Mr. Du, we are in Beijing. Don't we even have a clue? Mr. Du continued to ask. Wang Ziki shook his head. Mr. Du drained the cup of tea, then said, don't waste manpower on fourth Miss anymore, focus on finding her in the future. So, we're just going to ignore fourth Miss? Wang Ziki asked. If she wants to go mad, let her have a proper fit. Mr. Du put the teacup on the table, his face full of anger. It's unclear whether he's annoyed at the incompetent Wang Ziki, or the unrestrained fourth Mississippi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 669. Shengguan Furong apologizes at the doorway. _1 Master Du appears to be as gentle as jade on the surface, but only Wang Ziki knows what kind of soul is hidden beneath this gentle demeanor. This time, fourth Miss is probably not in for anything good. Master Du continued, from this month on, no one is allowed to remit money to fourth Mississippi. All right. Wang Ziki nodded. The Ni family residence. As Ni Yang opened the courtyard door, she was immediately embraced warmly by Emily. Ni Yang. Emily. After not seeing each other for several months, Emily seemed like a completely different person. Her skin was fair and rosy, and the freckles on her nose had disappeared completely. All thanks to the miraculous effects of ice crystal jade skin. Emily was immensely grateful for having met Ni Yang on Shisua Island in Miami. If it wasn't for Ni Yang, she would never have discovered how beautiful she could be. Source, web novel. Com, updated on N0New0. Excitedly, Emily hugged Ni Yang. A moment later, Ni Yang released Emily, and they walked into the living room. Emily said, Ni Yang, your home and courtyard are decorated so beautifully. She had always imagined China as a very backward country. It should be chaotic and dirty. But after coming to China, Emily discovered that it is a country with a very rich cultural heritage, completely different from what she had imagined. Ni Yang smiled and said, thank you for the compliment. Aunt Annie and Ni Tsuehua were chatting on the sofa in the living room. Through long-term learning, Ni Kuihua's oral English skills were now excellent, and there were no obstacles in her communication with Annie. After chatting for a while, Annie revealed her intentions. Ni Yang, I want to become an agent for your product and become the overseas distributor for Ice Crystal Jade Skin. I want more people in Country M to be able to use Ice Crystal Jade Skin. The effects of Ice Crystal Jade Skin are truly excellent. The few dozen products Annie took back last time sold out within a month. Because more and more people were coming to ask Annie to buy Ice Crystal Jade Skin, that's why Annie decided to visit China again. At the same time, this decision was made after careful consideration. Ice Crystal Jade Skin is a rare, good product that will be popular in the future. In order to prevent someone else from taking the opportunity first, she wanted to become the first agent in Country M. She believed that her judgment would not be mistaken. Hearing this, Ni Yang was somewhat surprised. She hadn't expected that Annie wanted to be the agent for Ice Crystal Jade Skin in such a short period of time. Aunt Annie, are you really sure about this? This is the contract, take a look. Annie took out the contract from her bag. There were 4 copies of the contract. 2 in English and 2 in Chinese. Ni Yang picked up the contract and while skimming through it, she circled the problematic parts. Aunt Annie, I think these 4 parts need to be revised. Please take a look. Ni Yang passed the revised contract to Annie. Annie took the contract and found that the 4 points Ni Yang had circled seemed fine at first glance, but on closer inspection she discovered that there were significant loopholes in these areas. Annie looked at Ni Yang, a new layer of admiration visible in her eyes. Ni Yang was about the same age as Emily. Emily couldn't even understand the contract, but Ni Yang could shoulder large responsibilities all by herself. That is truly impressive. All right, Annie nodded and continued, then these 4 areas will be modified as you suggested. Let's discuss the price issue next. As for the price, I will give you this discount. Ni Yang wrote a discount on a piece of paper. The price she gave was 70% of the normal retail price. The export duties and other transportation costs would be borne by Annie herself. Ni Yang would only be responsible for supplying the products. After calculating this way, the price of each product needs to be 40% higher than the domestic price in order for the agent to make a profit. In other words, if the whitening moisturizer was sold for 230 yuan domestically, it would have to be sold for 322 yuan abroad. However, this was normal. All things exported from foreign countries to China were sold at several times the original price. Isn't it time for the Chinese to have a moment of pride? After quickly calculating the exact price in her heart, Annie said, "Okay, this price is acceptable. Additionally, I have another request." Ni Yang continued, "This needs to be added to the contract." "You say?" Ni Yang said, "As ice crystal jade skin is a product of China, once it arrives in country M, it is not allowed to change its packaging, nationality, or founder. Furthermore, no additional trademark may be registered to overshadow it. It can only be ice crystal jade skin. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 670, Shengguan Furong apologizes at the doorway. Back in the 1980s, the Chinese did not have much awareness of copyright. This led to many goods being exported from China, repackaged in foreign countries, and then sold as local products. The toilet seat news of the later era is an example. The toilet seats from our country that were so popular among the Chinese were actually made in China. Ni Yang, having returned from the future, was determined to prevent all such problems. She wanted to avoid any future disputes. Annie nodded, "Ni Yang, you've thought this through thoroughly. She's incredibly shrewd. Negotiating with her is like playing a game of chess. She was clearly just a teenager, but her considerations were more thorough than an adult's. It was difficult to imagine the capacity of her brain." Ni Yang continued, "Oh, there's one more thing. Some products of the Ice Skin Jade Flesh line are limited editions. In order to avoid market disturbances in M country, I hope you follow the same practice. General limited editions should be capped at 60 sets per month, and the Supreme Edition only 20 sets. It should be purchased by showing an ID card, limiting 1 set per person per month. Actually, limited edition products are also a marketing strategy. After all, rarity is precious. Only when it becomes expensive will people cherish it." Source: Web Novel. Com, updated on N0 New. Anai nodded, indicating no objections. Ni Yang smiled, "If Aunt Annie agrees to all the points I've made, we can sign the contract as soon as it's drafted." Ni Yang raced to a successful partnership. Annie extended her right hand towards Ni Yang. "To a successful partnership." Ni Yang shook her hand warmly. After successfully concluding negotiations, Annie proposed to leave. Ni Yang smilingly said, "Aunt Annie, you are not familiar with China. If you don't mind, you can stay over tonight and I can take Emily around tomorrow." When they were in M country, Ni Yang had promised Emily she'd show her around. Since they've already moved into their new house, there was no need to worry about not having enough rooms. On hearing this, Emily jumped up and down in excitement. Yes, yes. She liked Ni Yang very much and wished she could be with Ni Yang every day. Annie said, "Then we'll take you up on your kind offer." In the afternoon, Ni Yang took Emily for a walk around the village. The village was bustling because a new road was being built. The villagers were intrigued by the foreign girl. Yang, who is this foreign girl? What's her name? Which country is she from? How old is she? Emily, not understanding Chinese, curiously looked at Ni Yang. Ni Yang first translated the villagers' questions into English, then told them, "Her name is Emily. She's a good friend I met in M country. She's 18 years old." "Oh, so her name is Lily." "I think calling her Lily sounds better, just like Yang Yang's name. This Lily is good looking, just like a doll on TV." The fashionable name of Emily was instantly transformed into a rustic lily by the villagers. Oddly enough, it sounded quite nice. What are they saying? Emily looked at Yang. Yang grinned and replied, they are all saying that they like you a lot and that you look pretty like a doll. Really? Emily looked at Yang, absolutely thrilled. Really? Yang nodded. Emily immediately bowed to the villagers, stuttering in Mandarin, think Wo you. You're welcome, you're welcome. As they left the construction site, Emily remarked, Yang, the Chinese people are so friendly. Yang nodded, yes, we Chinese are really friendly. The two of them arrived at the foot of the mountain. In November, most of the plants had withered, but a special kind of plant on the mountain was blooming against the wind. From a distance, the slope was carpeted in bright red, almost giving the illusion of early spring. These were the red camellia flowers. Wow, it's so beautiful here. Emily proposed, Yang, can we go to the mountain and pick some flowers? Country, due to its terrain and climate, has more rainforests and islands, and hardly any small scenic mountains like in China. Just like there are very few rainforests in China. Sure. Yang nodded. This was Emily's first visit to China, and her first time climbing a mountain. She was exceptionally excited. Jinghua Mountain is a rocky mountain. There are not many large trees, mostly shrubbery and small pine trees, and of course the camellia flowers. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 671, Shengguan Furong apologizes at the doorway _3. Emily picks a camellia flower and tucks it behind her ear. Yang, do I look good like this? Beautiful. Yang nods. You should wear one too. Emily snaps off a camellia and fastens it to Yang's ear. Yang, you look gorgeous too. Camellia, already a bright and conspicuous flower, now pinned to Yang's ear, appears somewhat dimmed and lackluster. Perhaps this is what is meant by the phrase, beauty pales before her. Before long, Emily gathers a handful of camellia flowers. Yang, what's this? Emily has somehow managed to pluck a handful of hawthorn fruits. This is hawthorn. It's not too bad, give it a try, Yang suggests. Jinghua Mountain is rich in resources, not only given to camellia flowers but also to hawthorn fruits. The small hawthorns grow very delicately, resembling miniature apples. Can I eat this? Emily looks at Yang with surprise. Yang nods. Source, web novel. Updated on Omicron. Emily bites timidly into a hawthorn. The sour and sweet flavors explode on her tongue. Yum. I've never tasted this back in country. Yang smiles. Hawthorns can not only be eaten directly but can also be made into candied hawthorn slices, and hawthorn cakes. Candied hawthorn, especially once processed, can taste delicious. Really? Emily is somewhat surprised. Of course it's true. Emily grabs Yang's hand. Yang, there are plenty more hawthorn fruits here, shall we pick more and make something tasty out of them? Sure. Yang nods slightly. The hawthorn tree is not tall, but its branches are fully adorned with bright red hawthorn fruits. In no time they fill the whole bag with them. After picking the hawthorns, Yang spots a tall bamboo citrus tree, its branches laden with bright yellow bamboo citrus. Bamboo citrus, also known as wooden bamboo. Though it tastes sour and sweet like hawthorn, its flavor is completely unique. Seeing Yang looking up at the bamboo citrus tree, Emily curiously asks, Yang, can we eat these too? The mountain is so much fun. Not only are the views fantastic, but there are so many treats to eat. Yang nods, yeah, you can eat them. Wanna try? Yes. Emily nods eagerly. Yang then says, he'll climb up and pick some and you can catch them below. Can you really climb this tall tree? Emily was skeptical. Yes. Yang, though wearing a cheongsam, has no problem scaling the tree. She makes it to the top in just a few quick movements, leaving Emily staring in surprise. Yang, you're amazing. Picking them one by one would take too long, so Yang, from her perch in the tree, gently shakes the branches. Like rain, the ripe bamboo citrus fall to the ground. That's enough. Emily below doesn't know which ones to pick up. Yang slowly descends from the tree, picks a yellow bamboo citrus from the ground, wipes it carelessly on her coat and takes a bite. The casual gesture exudes a kind of unruly charm. Just like a female general on the battlefield, clad in bright armor. So cool. The ripe bamboo citrus is not sour at all. It's soft and sweet, much more delicious than the bamboo citrus An Yang used to buy from the supermarket in her later life. Emily, imitating An Yang, bites into a bamboo citrus and exclaims, "This is even better than the hawthorn." The two of them pick plenty more bamboo citrus fruits. Combined with their earlier haul of camellia flowers and hawthorns, they returned home loaded with goodies. By the time they got home, it was already past 5 in the afternoon. An Yang begins preparing dinner. An Tsuehua helps her with the preparations. Annie takes care of little An Yun. Emily plays with Duo in the courtyard. Duo, the mischievous bird, loves playing with Emily. That night, An Yang prepares a feast. There's sour fish, mouth-watering roasted chicken, tangy pickled chicken feet, braised pork belly, shrimp and vermicelli soup, and a breast-enhancing pig's feet stew with kelp. The beverage is fresh squeezed pomegranate juice. The bright red pomegranate juice, poured into transparent wine glasses, is as alluring as wine. When An Chingue arrives home, the dishes have just been laid out on the table. An Yang takes the initiative to introduce Annie and Emily to An Chingue. Although Annie had visited once before, she returned to her country the same day and never met An Chingue. "Mrs. An, this is Annie and this is Annie's daughter, Emily." An Yang goes on, "Annie is interested in representing our ice-cold jade skin brand in country. She is here to discuss the partnership. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 672, Shangguan Furong apologizes at the doorway _4. Hearing this, An Chingue exclaimed in surprise, "Really? Our can go international now." Amicham, An Yang nodded. "That's fantastic." An Chingue said with a deeply moved smile on his face, turning to look at Annie and Emily, "Hello, I'm An Chingue." An Chingue didn't speak English, leaving Emily and Annie looking at each other perplexed, unable to understand what An Chingue meant. An Yang smiled and translated for them. When An Chingue saw An Tsuehua could communicate normally with them, his face was full of disbelief. "Yang, mom, you're really amazing." Although he had known for some time that An Tsuehua was learning English, An Chingue didn't realize that her English skills had gotten so good. An Tsuehua smiled and said, "When I have nothing else to do at home, I practice on my own. After spending so much time, I'd be embarrassed if I still couldn't do it." After all, she had also spent several months on it. "It looks like I really need to study hard or else he'll be the one falling behind. But Yang, mom, you're really smart." A year ago, An Tsuehua was just an illiterate rural woman. Now, not only had her appearance and temperament changed, but her knowledge had also improved along with them. Moreover, An Tsuehua was someone who loved to learn and had the perseverance to keep at it. Whenever she had free time, she would find a book to read. No matter what kind of book, she could get into it. An Chingue truly admired her. Source: web novel. Updated on Omicron New. Tsuehua smiled and said, "Sister Chingue, you sure know how to make me happy. You just haven't started learning. If you did, I'm sure you'd be smarter than me. Come on, let's eat. The dishes will get cold. I'll go wash my hands." An Chingue put his bag on the sofa and went to the washroom to wash his hands. Because they were aware that Emily and Annie wouldn't know how to use chopsticks, An Yang had specifically prepared knives and forks for them. Emily didn't have much expectation for Chinese food at first. She had eaten at Chinese restaurants in country before. The taste was quite ordinary, not at all better than Western food. But it was only when she tasted An Yang's cooking that she discovered what real Chinese food was like. The flavor was stunning. Delicious. It was really amazing. Emily could hardly stop herself from swallowing her tongue along with the food. Seeing Emily's reaction, Annie also lowered her head to taste a bite of the shrimp and vermicelli soup. The soup was rich in flavor, the shrimp was springy, and the vermicelli was full of the savory broth. Biting into it brought a deeply satisfying combination of flavors, much more delightful than plain bread and sandwiches. My goodness, the Chinese were too lucky to be able to eat such delicious food. Very tasty. Annie gave An Yang a thumbs up. An Yang smiled and said, "If you like it, eat more." The next day, An Yang took Emily to climb the Great Wall and visit the Forbidden City. They took many photos and didn't return home until after 6 in the evening. Back home, An Tsuehua had already prepared dinner. After eating, Annie handed over the newly drafted contract to An Yang. "An Yang, if everything looks fine, we can sign the contract." Besides drafting the contract, Annie had also completed many procedures that day. The Qing dynasty had suffered from its closed-door policy, but modern China was very welcoming to foreigners. Moreover, at this time, export trade wasn't very extensive, so Annie got all the procedures almost completed. Ai Yang looked over the contract and, finding no issues, signed her name on it. Annie took out 5 thick bundles of USD from her bag. Ai Yang, this is the first deposit. Once we get back to M country, we'll transfer the second payment, and afterward, we'll proceed with a cash-on-delivery payment model. Annie had requested a large quantity this time. There was a total of more than $50,000. Converted to RMB, it was more than 400,000. Ai Yang nodded, that's fine. The following day, Annie and Emily left Ai Yang's home. After completing all the paperwork, they took a flight back to M country that very night. Annie only checked in a little more than 50 boxes of the products to take with her. The rest were to be shipped by sea. The goods were expected to arrive in about half a month. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Lin Feng had been visiting the Shangguan family more frequently these days, but coincidentally, every time she came, Shangguan Furong was not at home. On several occasions it was Zhao Xin who hosted Lin Feng. Today was no exception. Comrade Xiaolin, please have some tea. Zhao Xin served Lin Feng a cup of tea. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 673, Shangguan Furong apologizes at the doorway. 5. Lin Feng picked up the cup, took a sniff and laughed. This is the top-grade Biluakun. But to be honest, compared to green tea like Biluakun, I prefer black-red tea like Pure. I always feel that black-red tea is more charming, green tea is too light. Upon hearing this, Zhao Xin exclaimed excitedly, really? I think so too. Finding a soulmate who shares your interest in this world is not easy at all. Zhao Xin was now extremely excited. Lin Feng laughed and said, well, we really have the same bad taste. Zhao Xin continued, however, Furong doesn't like black-red tea, so I threw away all the black-red tea at home. Otherwise, I could steep a cup of Pure for you now. Speaking of which, that Pure tea cake was brought back from Zhangnan. It has been kept for more than 10 years. Zhao Xin's words were filled with regret. Probably only tea lovers would understand his feelings. A Pure tea cake that has been stored for more than 10 years is a top-grade tea that can't be purchased in normal times. As Lin Feng observed Zhao Xin's expression, she said, that's a real pity. Sister Furong seems to be quite nice in general. Why is her character so peculiar? You drink yours, she drinks hers, there's no need to waste good stuff? Zhao Xin lowered his head and took a sip of green tea, ignoring Lin Feng's words. Grandma Zhao walked over. Xiaolin, if Furong was as understanding as you are, I would be satisfied. Lin Feng laughed. Grandma, you're joking, I'm just speaking truthfully. Actually, Sister Furong is a really nice person. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New 0. Omicron, she is a good person, it's just that her character is a bit quirky, Grandma Zhao continued, otherwise why would she even offend her own mother? Lin Feng chuckled but didn't respond. Because some things are better left unsaid. The more you say, the more it can backfire. Lin Feng didn't stay at the Zhao family's home for long before she proposed leaving. Grandma Zhao said, Shinbao, help me send Xiaolin off. All right. Zhao Xin grabbed his car keys and stood up to accompany Lin Feng. Lin Feng gently declined, no need to send me, it's not that far anyway, I can take a taxi back. Upon hearing this, Zhao Xin was about to put down the car keys. Grandma Zhao frowned slightly and continued, just let Zhao Xin send you, it's not like he has anything to do at home anyway. This time Lin Feng didn't refuse, then ill trouble brother-in-law. Zhao Xin retracted his half-stretched hand. The two of them walked out the door together. Lin Feng took the passenger seat. On the road, Lin Feng tried her best to find mutual topics with Zhao Xin. Because she had done her research beforehand, the two of them enjoyed their conversation more and more. Unfortunately, they soon arrived at Lin Feng's building, and their conversation ceased. Zhao Xin is a very gentlemanly person. He first got out of the car and walked around to the other side to open the car door for Lin Feng. Thank you. Lin Feng stepped out of the car. But because she was wearing high heels that day, she didn't pay attention when getting out of the car. Her foot twisted and she stumbled forward. Luckily, Zhao Xin reacted in time and stopped her fall. Lin Feng fell into Zhao Xin's arms. Zhao Xin stood there rather helplessly. With a smirk, Lin Feng held onto Zhao Xin's waist and straightened her body, her eyes filled with a hint of playfulness. Brother-in-law, thank you. Are you okay? Zhao Xin asked with concern. I'm fine, just twisted my ankle. Lin Feng pretended to be strong. Though clearly in her 30s, Pretending to be weak didn't seem awkward at all. If you're okay, then I'll go first. Zhao Shen immediately put a safe distance between Lin Fang and himself, turned around and got back into his car. Watching the black car drive away, Lin Fang bit her lip in frustration. Idiot. This Zhao Shen is just an idiot. Good meat was being delivered to his doorstep and he didn't know to eat it. No wonder he was tightly controlled by Shangguan Farong. But she was not in a rush. She was confident that she could win over Zhao Shen. It was just a matter of time. When Zhao Shen got home, he just happened to run into Shangguan Farong, who had just returned from playing cards outside. Shangguan Farong glanced at him. Didn't you have anything to do today? Where have you been? Just now Xiaolin came to our house looking for you. Since you weren't at home, we let me send her back. Zhao Shen didn't hide anything from Shangguan Farong. Shangguan Farong nodded. I understand. Now go and make me a cup of coffee with milk. And she didn't take Lin Fang seriously. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 674, Shangguan Farong apologizes at the doorway _6. In other words, she had enough confidence in herself. She didn't believe Zhao Shen would dare betray her. Okay, we'll go now. Zhao Shen rushed into the room, hoping to have coffee ready by the time Shangguan Farong sat on the sofa. Seeing Shangguan Farong's return, Grandma Zhao tactfully left the living room. Although Enai Tsuehua wasn't planning to get married to Shangguan Dehui for now, they couldn't keep dragging things on, so Grandma Shangguan spoke with Enai Qingui to set up an engagement and make it public. Enai Tsuehua had no objections to this. In China in the 1980s, getting engaged was also known as setting the commitment. Setting the commitment wasn't as formal as it would be in later years. All it required was a matchmaker and inviting family from both sides for a shared meal. However, during the engagement, the wedding date needed to be agreed upon. When Shangguan Farong heard about Shangguan Dehui's engagement to Enai Tsuehua, she was livid. They had even set the date for the engagement without notifying her. Did they even consider her anymore? Source: Web Novel. Updated on Omicron New 0. Shangguan Farong, angry, went to find Grandma Shangguan. Grandma Shangguan said, "How can you expect others to respect you if you don't respect yourself? Mother, am I still your daughter?" Shangguan Farong confronted Grandma Shangguan. Grandma Shangguan responded, "I should be the one asking you that. Do you even see me as your mother? You're making a scene for no reason." Continuing, Grandma Shangguan said, "Also, you owe Yang Yang an apology for what happened last time." What? Shangguan Farong couldn't help but exclaim sharply, "You want me to apologize to her? Why should I apologize to her?" Enai Yang was nothing more than an individual trader, and she was the younger generation. Shangguan Farong almost thought she was hallucinating. Apologizing. Grandma Shangguan was actually asking her to apologize. You messed things up so badly. Asking you to apologize is the least of it. Grandma Shangguan continued, "I'm telling you today, if you continue to insist on your views with no remorse, then I won't acknowledge you as my daughter anymore. Leaves that to your own discretion." This time, Grandma Shangguan wouldn't indulge Shangguan Farong any longer. "Mother, do you realize what you're saying? Rest assured, even when I'm asleep, I'm more clear-headed than you." Grandma Shangguan continued, "By the way, until you agree to apologize, please don't call me mother. I don't have a daughter like you." Grandma Shangguan kept a stern face, showing no signs of joking. Shangguan Farong never thought that Grandma Shangguan would sever ties with her own daughter for a bunch of outsiders. The room fell silent for a moment. After a while, Shangguan Farong looked up at Grandma Shangguan and said, word by word, "Fine, I am willing to apologize." "You're certain?" Grandma Shangguan raised her eyebrows to look at her. "Yes." Shangguan Farong was no fool. She knew she could not lose the support of the Shangguan family. If Grandma Shangguan were to truly not acknowledge her as a daughter, it would bring her no benefits. So be it. She'll apologize. She will find plenty of ways to deal with that little brat Enai Yang in the future. The depths of Shangguan Farong's eyes held nothing but hatred. Upon hearing her response, Grandma Shangguan stood up from the couch. "Since you've thought it through, come with me." Shangguan Farong followed in Grandma Shangguan's footsteps. Soon, the two of them arrived at the Enai family's residence. Grandma Shangguan led Shangguan Farong to Enai Yang. "Yang Yang, today I brought Aunt Farong to apologize to you." Shangguan Farong stepped out from behind Grandma Shangguan, and with an apologetic expression she said, "Sorry Yang Yang. I shouldn't have meddled the other day and introduced you to Qian Weiya. You can rest assured I won't do it again. Yes. If she ever tried to introduce another potential suitor to Ni Yang, she would be worse than an animal. She hoped Ni Yang would marry a worse-off person. Better yet, someone useless like Imo Chishan. Ni Yang smiled faintly. I hope you'll remember your words today, Aunt Farong. Shangguan Farong nodded with a forced smile. Having apologized, Grandma Shangguan led Shangguan Farong back home. On the car ride home, Grandma Shangguan started the conversation. Farong, your bad temper really needs some working on. If you keep this up, you'll inevitably suffer losses in the future. Zhaoshen might be simple and honest, but even a cornered dog will bite. As her mother, Grandma Shangguan was genuinely worried. Shangguan Farong laughed and said, Aren't you the one who loves seeing me suffer losses? Grandma Shangguan continued, I heard that Lin Fang has been visiting your home frequently. Is that true? What about it? Shangguan Farong looked at Grandma Shangguan. Grandma Shangguan continued, Shangguan Farong is a widow who harbors devious intentions. You should distance yourself from such people, lest you end up suffering losses unknowingly. Grandma Shangguan saw Lin Fang's character for what it truly was. It wasn't because she was overly suspicious, but some people just needed to be guarded against. Shangguan Farong laughed, then sarcastically said, Mother, who I want to associate with is my business. Could you please mind your own, and stop concerning yourself with our family affairs? Grandma Shangguan frowned slightly, I'm saying all of this for your own good. Have you ever seen a mother harm her own child? Well, when I was introducing suitors to Ni Yang, I was doing it for the good of the Shangguan family. Have you ever seen a daughter who would harm her own mother? Shangguan Farong turned the tables. She really hated Grandma Shangguan's hypocritical manner. It was utterly repugnant. Grandma Shangguan was at a loss for words. Farong, how can you be so ungrateful? Don't you think the person being ungrateful is you? Shangguan Farong looked at Grandma Shangguan, her face full of mockery. She had good intentions, thinking about the Shangguan family's interests, but Grandma Shangguan didn't appreciate it and even punished her. Now, at last, Grandma Shangguan could experience her feelings too. Shangguan Farong felt an intense satisfaction within. Grandma Shangguan sighed. She earnestly said, Farong, trust me, Lin Fang is not a good person. It's best you don't have any dealings with her. Have you ever heard me say a word about your other friends? As her own flesh and blood, Grandma Shangguan couldn't bear to see her treacherously sucked into some abyss. She had an intuition that Lin Fang was definitely getting close to Shangguan Farong with ulterior motives. Shangguan Farong said, Mother, I have my own eyes to see and I can judge for myself. I have a better understanding of Lin Fang than you do. Please refrain from making baseless comments about my friends. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 675. Engagement Scene Shining Brightly. _1 Seeing Shangguan Farong so obstinate, Shangguan old lady sighed. Farong, you're being so stubborn, refusing to consider the opinions of others. One day you will regret it. Shangguan Farong smiled and replied, Mother, shouldn't I be the one saying those words to you? Who is really the stubborn one here? She had always kept the best interests of the Shangguan family in mind, but had the old lady ever shown a shred of gratitude? Not only was she ungrateful, but she also took her good intentions for granted. Now, she was even being asked to apologize to a younger generation. When had Shangguan Farong ever suffered such humiliation? The old lady stood by Ni Tsuehua and Ni Yang wholeheartedly, but she would one day regret it. The old lady shook her head helplessly. Well, I've warned you. Whether you choose to listen is up to you. But let me say this up front, if one day you are wronged by Lin Fang, don't come crying to me. If you don't mind losing face, I do. She had made herself clear. Shangguan Farong was in her 30s now, not a 3-year-old. She should know right from wrong. Shangguan Farong laughed scornfully. Mother, rest assured. I will never give you the chance to see that day. But as for you, your bias for Daya and Ni Yang, there will come a day when you might regret it. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron. Don't worry, both Daya and Yang are not like that. The old lattice eyes were full of firm belief, firmly convinced that she would never misjudge a person. Who can guarantee that? She was waiting for that day. The day the old lady would regret her words. The old lady didn't say anything more. The 8th day of the 11th lunar month. Auspicious. Travel, engagement, trade, tourism, blessings. The engagement of Ni Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui was set for this day. The golden morning sun rose slowly from the east. By the time Ni Yang woke up, Shangguan Dehui, Shangguan Su, and Shangguan Shi had already arrived. At this moment they were having breakfast in the living room. "Uncle Shangguan, you came so early." Ni Yang was somewhat surprised. Ni Qingwei laughed and said, "It's best to do such things as early as possible." "Yang, sit here," Shangguan Shi waved at Ni Yang. "The buns auntie made are simply delicious." Shangguan Su took a sip of milk, then casually wiped an oil stain off the chair with a napkin. Ni Yang walked over and sat next to Shangguan Shi. The chair she sat on was the one that Shangguan Su had just wiped. Shangguan Dehui brought many essential items for the engagement. After breakfast he, along with Shangguan Su, took little Ni Yun and distributed wedding candies to each and every household. An engagement is a joyous occasion, of course, it should be shared with everyone. The candy bags not only contained candies but also red dates, peanuts, longans, lotus seeds, as well as 2 cookies and a packet of cigarettes. At this time in the village, distributing 2 candies per household for a happy event was already considered generous. It was quite unheard of for someone like Shangguan Dehui to distribute such large quantities. Ni Yang, on the other hand, was helping Ni Tsuehua style her hair with Shangguan Shi. To be precise, Ni Yang was doing the hairstyling, while Shangguan Shi was watching from the side. Ni Yang had very skillful hands, and in no time she created a very intricate hairstyle. Shangguan Shi couldn't help but exclaim, "Yang, you're amazing. I never knew hairstyles could look this good." Ni Yang could cook, could fight, and could do business. She was simply too outstanding. Shangguan Shi felt like she must have been a good person in her previous life to have such a talented sister in this life. Ni Yang laughed and said, "Sister Xiaoxi, it's not that hard once you know the trick. I can teach you when we have time." "Really? Mum?" Ni Yang nodded. Seeing Ni Yang and Shangguan Shi getting along so well, Ni Tsuehua felt relieved. Once her hair was done, Ni Tsuehua went to change into her engagement gown. The engagement gown was brought by Shangguan Dehui, a wine-red Chinese-style dress. Ni Tsuehua had a great figure and fair skin. After putting on the dress she looked at least 10 years younger. Elegant and dignified. "She is so beautiful." Shangguan Shi gasped in awe. Although she knew Ni Tsuehua was pretty, she seemed like a completely different person after dressing up. "Yang, take a picture of me and auntie." Shangguan Shi, arm in arm with Ni Tsuehua, made a scissor hand sign. "Include me as well." Ni Qingwei came over. Ni Yang took the camera and snapped many pictures. Just as Ni Tsuehua came out after changing, Mo Qishan and Wu Daming walked in with gift boxes from outside. "Brother Mo, Wu Daming." Yang. Mo Qishan walked over and shook hands with Ni Yang. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 676. Engagement Scene Shining Brightly. _2. Sister-in-law. Congratulations. Wu Daming placed the gift box on the coffee table in the middle of the living room. "Thank you." Yang. Li Ronghua along with Guden and Li Fugue walked in from outside. "Sister Ni Yang." Guden was very excited to see Ni Yang. He was about ready to rush over and hug Ni Yang when his eyes met Mo Qishan, and chickened out. "Guden." Ni Yang reached out and patted Guden's little head. "Sister Li has also arrived." Wu Daming looked towards Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua gave Wu Daming a disdainful look. "Who are you calling sister?" This Wu Daming really needed putting in his place. No matter how many times she had said it, he just wouldn't quit calling her sister. Upon receiving Li Ronghua's scornful look, Wu Daming scratched his head and muttered to himself, "Looks just like an elder sister but doesn't want to be called one." He really was the most pitiable. Ni Yang intervened, laughing, "Sister Ronghua, Wu Daming, Fugue Guden. Let me introduce you, this is my sister Shangguan Shi. Sister Xiaoxi, this is Mo's fellow classmate Wu Daming, this is my good friend Li Ronghua, this is Guden Ronghua's younger brother, and this is her eldest brother Li Fugue." Shangguan Shi greeted everyone one by one. Source: Web Novel. Updated on new. Of course, Yang Gobeo's family couldn't be absent from Ni Kuihua's engagement ceremony. A little later Wang Meifeng brought Yang Changjing and Yang Guobao over. Seeing his long-lost friends, Guden was especially excited. By the time Shangguan Dehui and the others returned from distributing candy for good fortune, it was precisely 8:30. The engagement ceremony was to be held in Shangguan's home. Therefore, everyone got ready to go to the Shangguans. Shangguan Farong, dressed in a big red gift outfit, was busy arranging the engagement ceremony site. She had a dominating character and wanted to decide every single matter herself. Madame Shangguan looked at the seating arrangement, a bit puzzled. Why are all the relatives on our side? Furong, where did you arrange the relatives from the Diya side? In China, nothing is more important than table etiquette. During big occasions, the elders and important relatives would sit on the first table on either side, but Shangguan Furong arranged the first and second tables on both sides only with relatives from the Shangguan and Zhao's side. The third and fourth tables were for Ni Quihua's relatives. Shangguan Furong said, all the relatives Diya brought are poor folks from rural areas. It's embarrassing to have them at the first table. The first table should be reserved for esteemed guests. Having a group of nobles sit with country folk would be socially unacceptable. Madame Shangguan slightly frowned. Furong, who are you looking down on? Did I say something wrong? Shangguan Furong continued, Diya is just a country girl. It's already a great honor for her to marry into our family. Now she wants to choose seating as well? Besides, isn't it a farce to let country folks sit with our relatives? The most esteemed guests on Ni Quihua's side should be the Mo's and the Yangs. The Mo's came because of Mo Chishan, and the Yang family probably came because of the Mo Sake. At this point, Shangguan Furong paused and then continued, plus, I've invited Li Long, Mr. Abner's assistant, to come. He will also attend my brother's engagement ceremony. That will really enhance our family's status. Do we want to embarrass ourselves in front of Mr. Li Long? Mr. Abner is a foreigner. Although his status in China is not as high as Mr. Mog's, he is still a powerful figure in Beijing. Otherwise, Shangguan Furong wouldn't have been so proud to have invited Li Long. No one could envy more than attracting the attention of Mr. Abner, even if it was only his assistant. Could Ni Tsuehua, a farmer, manage to make connections with Mr. Abner? Madame Shangguan's face showed deep anger. Furong, today is your brother's day of great joy. I don't want to argue with you. I will handle everything from now on. Madame Shangguan was old, and though she didn't have much energy and originally did not want to intervene, she hadn't expected Shangguan Furong to go too far, relocating Ni Quihua's relatives to the third table and beyond. She couldn't believe that Furong had thought of this. Mom? Shangguan Furong frowned and said, you don't mind being embarrassed? It's you who makes me feel embarrassed. Madame Shangguan took the stage to guide people in rearranging the tables and chairs. Shangguan Furong, outraged, slammed the cup in her hand on the table. Fine, fine, fine. Isn't it enough for you if I stop interfering? Anyway, when it comes to embarrassment, it's you who'll be the laughingstock, not me. Madame Shangguan rearranged the tables and chairs once again. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 677. Engagement Scene Shining Brightly. _3. The male relatives were seated on the left, while the female relatives were arranged on the right. As soon as this was arranged, Shangguan Dehue arrived with Ni Tsuehua. Madame Shangguan immediately greeted them. Dehue Dia, what do you think of the arrangements here? Aunt, you arranged it very well. Thank you for your hard work, Ni Tsuehua replied. No trouble at all, no trouble at all. Madame Shangguan looked towards the others behind her. Everyone, please come in and take a seat. Although Ni Tsuehua didn't have many relatives in Beijing, quite a few people, both young and old, did come. The elders included Grandma Lu, Old Madame Mo, and Old Master Mo Li Ronghua and his two siblings, the three-member Yang Guobao family, Mo Chishan and Wu Daming, Ni Yang and Little Ni Yun, and Ni Qinggui among others were present. The village chief, representing the entire population of Jinghua village, was also present. Madame Shangguan immediately invited everyone inside. Shangguan Furong watched the crowd entering with a look of disdain on her face. The Mo and Yang families were alright since they were also wealthy families in Beijing. But what about the rest of these people? Such people were also allowed to enter the door of the Shangguan residence. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New Omicron. Madame Shangguan must have been out of her mind. Being so enthusiastic with these people. Were they worthy? After everyone entered, it didn't take long for the rest of the guests to arrive as well. Shangguan Dehue and Ni Tsuehua stood at the door greeting guests and handing out candies. Shangguan Furong was also warmly welcoming guests on the other side, a stark contrast to her behavior just a while ago. The elitist circle was aware that Shangguan Dehue had married a rural woman. So, many people attended the engagement ceremony with the mentality of enjoying the drama. Initially they thought they'd see a crude village woman. But surprisingly, the bride-to-be was so beautiful. Ni Tsuehua, tall with an enviable figure, Dressed in a traditional Chinese dress that reached the ground, light makeup on her face, refined and elegant, appeared even more striking than Shangguan Furong, the legitimate heiress. Where was this village girl they were expecting? Dehui, congratulations. I wish you a harmonious life. Thank you. Having thanked them, Shangguan Dehui turned to Enai Tsuehua. Dia, this is my colleague, Professor Han. Hello, Professor Han. With Enai Kuihua's polite demeanor, nobody could pick out any flaws, leaving everyone with a good impression of her. Shangguan Furong looked at Enai Tsuehua, squinting her eyes without a word. To overshadow Enai Tsuehua, she had purposely worn a dress even brighter than Enai's. Still, Tsuehua managed to steal the limelight. She's such a cunning woman. Enai Tsuehua was wearing high heels today. Taking advantage of a quiet moment, Shangguan Dehui whispered, Dia, do your feet hurt? Should we get a flat pair for you to change into? No need, Enai Tsuehua shook her head. I'm fine. In the blink of an eye, it was almost 11 o'clock and most of the guests had arrived. Shangguan Furong, holding a wine glass, stood around chatting with a bunch of wealthy matrons. One of them said, Furong, I heard your future sister-in-law is a rural woman, is that true? There was some hint of provocation in the question. A distinguished family marrying a village woman, that was quite novel. A rare occurrence in a century indeed. Shangguan Furong nodded, it's true. Don't let her good looks fool you, she doesn't know a single letter. She's just good at seducing men. Otherwise, how would my brother fall for her? I think she's quite pretty. And her daughter Enai Yang is also good-looking. Shangguan Furong snorted. Her daughter isn't any better. Both mother and daughter are vixens. Furong, from what I can see, it seems like you really don't like them, do you? Jia Jinjin asked. Shangguan Furong replied, I've opposed this marriage from the start, but unfortunately no one in my family listens to me. Would you like to see her make a fool of herself? Jinjin playfully swirled her glass. What do you mean? Shangguan Furong asked eagerly. If she could see Enai Tsuehua humiliated in front of everyone at the wedding, it would definitely be amusing. A glint flashed in Shangguan Furong's eyes. Jia Jinjin gave a mysterious smile. Just watch and see. After saying this, she carried her wine glass and headed towards Enai Tsuehua. Enai Tsuehua was in conversation with Zhao Yeshu, Madame Shangguan's sister-in-law. Zhao Shuya, being highly educated, had thought she wouldn't have much in common with Enai Tsuehua. However, surprisingly Enai Tsuehua was just as knowledgeable. Regardless of the topic, Enai Tsuehua always contributed to the conversation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 678, Shining Brightly at the Engagement Scene. _4. This surprised her a bit. After all, the person standing in front of her was just a village woman. That's your daughter, isn't it? She's so pretty. The young man with her looks a bit familiar. Zhao Yeshu pointed at Enai Yang. Just then Jia Jinjin, holding a glass of red wine, barged into her. Smack. The red wine splashed directly onto Enai Tsuehua. Jia Jinjin immediately apologized. Sorry, are you okay? I didn't do it on purpose. Please forgive me? She quickly fired off a string of fluent English. Jia Zenshin's intent was to embarrass Enai Tsuehua. How could she embarrass Enai Tsuehua if she used the normal language? It was somewhat quiet around them as everyone looked in their direction. Shangguan Furong looked over and said to the wealthy ladies beside her, Jinjin really knows how to handle things. Who in the elite circle doesn't know English? If Enai Tsuehua doesn't, source, web novel. Updated on Omicron New Zero. Where would it leave Madame Shangguan's face? It's about time Madame Shangguan learned what is the meaning of being well-matched in social and economic status. If it had been Lin Fang today, she would have handled it calmly, never letting the Shangguan family lose face. As for Enai Tsuehua, she can only make a fool of herself. Enai Tsuehua didn't expect someone to suddenly bump into her, and even less did she expect the person would speak in English. She was stunned for a moment, then she smiled and said, No problem, don't worry about it. She replied in fluent English as well. At this time, Enai Tsuehua was extremely thankful that she and Enai Yang had taken a trip abroad and learned English afterwards. Otherwise, she would have been embarrassed today. Jia Jinjin was dumbfounded. Shangguan Furong was shocked, so was Zhao Yeshu. No one expected Enai Tsuehua to speak English. Wasn't Enai Tsuehua illiterate, having never even finished primary school? How would an illiterate woman know how to speak English? Not only did Enai Tsuehua not make a fool of herself, but she also spectacularly turned the tables. Shangguan de Hui came over from the other side. Dia, are you all right? Do you want to change your clothes? He had prepared a backup dress in case of emergencies. Okay. Anai Tsuehua nodded and then turned to Jia Jinjin. Ma'am, the floor is slippery. Please be careful. Slippery? The floor is covered in a thick red carpet, how could it be slippery? Her words were a warning as well as a reminder. As the guest of honor today, if Anai Tsuehua had been deliberately bumped into and didn't retaliate, what would the other guests think? Also, since we are Chinese, I believe we should speak in Chinese. She then smoothly switched back to Mandarin. As soon as she finished, the looks of the others who heard her words instantly changed when they looked at Jia Jinjin. Pretending to accidentally bump into Anai Tsuehua, taking advantage of the opportunity to splash wine onto her, purposely speaking English, tsk. It's clear that Jia Jinjin harbored ill intentions. No doubt, Anai Kuihua's retaliation was exquisite. Shangguan Furong was grinding her teeth in anger. She had underestimated Anai Tsuehua. Jia Zenshin's face had turned various colors, it was quite a sight. Sorry. Anai Tsuehua didn't say anything else, she turned and went to change her clothes with Shangguan de Hui. Jia Jinjin ran to Shangguan Furong's side, frowning. Furong, didn't you say that Dia was just an illiterate village woman? She had been positive that Anai Tsuehua was a village woman and found the courage to tease her. If she had known that Anai Tsuehua was so competent and could even speak English, she would not have gone looking for trouble even if she was paid. She's now lost face inside and out. Shangguan Furong was also frustrated. I don't know either. I asked my mother before and she said that Dia didn't go to primary school. How did Anai Tsuehua suddenly learn to speak English? Jinjin, don't be upset. It's my fault, Shangguan Furong followed. By the way, I specially invited Mr. Li Long to be a guest today, and I'll introduce you to him later. Who's Li Long? Jia Jinjin was somewhat puzzled. Zhao Yun on the side gasped in surprise. Could it be Mr. Abner's assistant, Li Long? Yes. Shangguan Furong nodded. Who doesn't know about Mr. Abner? This man from F country is extremely proud and never associates with Chinese. No one knew how Shangguan Furong befriended his assistant. My gosh. Furong, you're too amazing. Furong, don't play favorites. I also want to meet Mr. Abner. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 679, Engagement Scene Shining Brightly. _5. At that moment, Jia Zenshin's anger was completely dispersed by Mr. Abner. She thought about having Shangguan Furong introduce her to Li Long. At this moment, Shangguan de Hui brought Anai Tsuehua to the fitting room. You go in and change. I'll wait for you outside, he said. All right, Anai Tsuehua nodded. The spare dress was identical to what Anai Tsuehua was wearing, with a long zipper at the back. At home it was Anai Yang who had helped her zip it up, but now, alone, she couldn't manage, so she opened the door to ask for Shangguan de Hui's help. She opened the door slightly. Can you come in and help me zip up? Shangguan de Hui was a bit taken aback at first, then said, all right. Upon entering, Shangguan de Hui immediately locked the door behind him. Zip, the zipper was pulled to the top. Anai Tsuehua turned, opened the door. Let's go. We should head out. At that moment, Shangguan de Hui leaned against the door, trapping Anai Tsuehua between the door and him, looking down to her with a dominating vibe. For a moment, Anai Tsuehua felt as if she'd traveled back more than 20 years ago. Source, web novel. Com, updated on N0New0. Shangguan de Hui's gaze on her was the same predatory look he had given her the first time they met. Just as Anai Tsuehua was about to say something, Shangguan de Hui leaned in for a kiss. He had wanted to do this for a long time. But he had been afraid of scaring her off, just as he had all those years ago. Today he had finally done something he had long wanted to, but had not dared to do. Let's go, Anai Tsuehua opened the door. Wait a moment, Shangguan de Hui asked hoarsely. What's the matter? Anai Tsuehua asked with a puzzled look. Shangguan de Hui picked up a lipstick from the dresser. Touch up your makeup before we go. Anai Tsuehua blushed as she took the lipstick and sat in front of the mirror. Shangguan de Hui continued, Are you using the lipstick I handed over today? Yes, Anai Tsuehua nodded. Use it again next time. Huh? Anai Tsuehua stared blankly. Leave me alone. Anai Tsuehua playfully shoved Shangguan de Hui. Aren't you too old to still be playing games? Shangguan de Hui squinted. I was only 21 the year I met you. So this year I'm at most 22. From the day he met her, his age had become fixed. Enai Tsuehua broke into a light laugh. About 10 minutes later, the two finally left the fitting room. The atmosphere in the main hall was lively. Everyone had heard that Li Long was coming, so many people were now crowded round Shangguan Farong. Everyone wanted to take this opportunity to get to know Li Long. Farong, are you really sure Li Long will come? Someone asked in disbelief. Shangguan Farong smiled. Why would I lie about something like this? If he's coming, you'll all see him soon. Shangguan Farong had met Li Long at a dinner party. After talking, she found out that Li Long had some connection with the Zhao family. At that time, she had even taken the chance to chat with Mr. Abner. For this engagement ceremony, Shangguan Farong had also sent an invitation to Mr. Abner. But she wasn't sure if Mr. Abner would come, so she hadn't mentioned it to anyone. Mr. Abner was a proud man who never gave face to the great families. If he didn't come, wouldn't it be a loss of face? But Li Long would certainly come because she had already arranged it with him. Someone chimed in, you said Li Long would come, but why hasn't he arrived yet? Yeah, what? It's nearly 11 o'clock. Just then, 4 figures walked in from outside. The 2 people in the front were clearly a mother and son. The 2 men trailing them were carrying lavish gifts. Seeing these 4, the bustling hall gradually quieted down. The man in front, is that Mr. Abner? Mr. Abner was different from Mr. Mogg. Mr. Mogg kept a low profile and was mysterious. He never appeared in public, so nobody even knew his age. But Mr. Abner was very high profile. He often attended various cocktail parties. That's why the people in the upper-class circle knew him. Shangguan Farong was ecstatic. She never thought Mr. Abner would come personally to congratulate her. He really did come. Farong. You're incredible. Not only did you invite Li Long but also Mr. Abner. Although Mr. Abner's influence was not as powerful as Mr. Mogg's, he was still no one to be taken lightly. Moreover, Mr. Abner was a character that all the major families wanted to draw in, and yet he was subtly won over by Shangguan Farong. Suppressing her inner excitement, Shangguan Farong adjusted her smile, walked up to the group and said in fluent English, Mr. Abner, you're here. Please this way. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 680, Engagement Scene Shining Brightly. _6. English is a universal language, so Mr. Abner shouldn't have trouble understanding it. Mr. Abner smiled at her and said in fluent Chinese, Is Enai Yang here? Enai Yang? Wasn't Mr. Abner the one she had invited? Why would he be looking for Enai Yang? Not to mention, how could someone like Enai Yang, a small-town girl, know Mr. Abner? She must be imagining things. Shangguan Farong smiled and said, Mr. Abner, thank you very much for accepting the invitation to attend my brother's engagement ceremony. Please come in. Mr. Abner's brows wrinkled slightly. Lady, I think you might be mistaken. I don't know you. I came to find Enai Yang. Is she here? The next second, Shangguan Farong's confident smile abruptly froze on her face. Embarrassing. So embarrassing. Everyone knew Mr. Abner had been invited by her. Now Mr. Abner claims he doesn't know her. He even insisted he was here looking for Enai Yang. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New Zero. Hearing this, people began to whisper amongst themselves. Quickly recovering, Shangguan Farong bit the bullet and said, Mr. Abner, Enai Yang is my niece. Please come with me. Upon hearing that Enai Yang was her niece, Mr. Abner's attitude improved significantly. Could you please take me to Enai Yang? Just then, Enai Yang walked over from the other side. Mr. Abner. Miss Enai Yang. Mr. Abner immediately approached her. Yang. Georgiana was thrilled to see Enai Yang. She has been wanting to adopt Enai Yang as her goddaughter, but hadn't had the opportunity. Today, however, seems like a good opportunity. Mr. Abner continued, I heard that today is a joyous day for your mother. Therefore my mother and I have brought along some modest gifts. We hope you will accept them. The moment he finished speaking, 2 aides beside him offered the pre-prepared gifts. A valuable 1,000-year-old ginseng and precious jewelry were displayed on the red velvet. The people around were stunned. It appears that Mr. Abner has no connection with the Shangguan family. He had legitimately come for Enai Yang's sake. Enai Yang was too amazing. She actually knew Mr. Abner. People could not even get close to Mr. Abner, while Enai Yang even had Mr. Abner bringing her gifts. What a magnificent honor. Shangguan Farong's face turned pale. She was actually outperformed by a small-town girl. Enai Yang took Mr. Abner to Enai Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui. This is my uncle, and this is my mother. Uncle, auntie, I wish you a long and happy life together, Mr. Abner greeted politely. Shengguan Dehui took Mr. Abner's hand. Thank you. Had already known that Ni Yang was no ordinary person. So when he saw Ni Yang knew Mr. Abner, Shengguan Dehui was not surprised. Then Ni Yang introduced, this is my boyfriend Mo Qishan. Upon seeing Mo Qishan, Mr. Abner's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Mo Qishan slightly smiled and took the initiative to stretch out his hand toward Mr. Abner. Mr. Abner, I've heard a lot about you. Mr. Abner glanced around and then revealed a mysterious smile. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure? Mr. Abner was showing respect to a good-for-nothing? What could this good-for-nothing possibly teach him? But it makes sense when you think about it. After all, Mr. Abner is from F country and isn't acquainted with Chinese customs. He probably didn't know about Mo Qishan's reputation. Unfortunately, this good-for-nothing, instead of being modest, accepted the compliment with a smile. Does he even realize the person standing in front of him is Mr. Abner? A good-for-nothing will always be a good-for-nothing. A worthless thing. Ni Yang must be blind. Being such a beauty, how could she fancy Mo Qishan? Because of Mr. Abner, Ni Tsuehua quickly became the most popular person there, with everyone showing their friendliness. During the meal, Mr. Abner sat with the village chief, Grandma Lu, and the Mo family at the first table on the right side. Guests from the left side kept coming over to toast. The rich dames who were originally hanging around Shengguan Furong also rushed to the right side. Shengguan Furong's face looked quite ugly. Mr. Abner was her guest. How did he end up being Ni Yang's guest? What sort of dishonorable methods did she employ? Sitting next to Ni Yang, Georgiana turned to Ni Tsuehua, who was hoisting her wine glass. Miss Ni, I really like Yang and we get along quite well. May I adopt her as my goddaughter? As these words were spoken, several people present were a bit taken aback. Georgiana is adopting Ni Yang as her goddaughter. Wouldn't that make Mr. Abner Ni Yang's brother, and Ni Tsuehua Mr. Abner's godmother? What an honor. There would be a line of people from here to the end of the Yangtze River wanting to become Georgiana's goddaughter. Shengguan Furong felt mixed emotions, and found it hard to swallow back her discomfort. Why on earth did she want to recognize a goddaughter out of the blue? If she wanted to recognize a goddaughter, shouldn't she have chosen her? What qualifications does Ni Yang have to be Georgiana's goddaughter? Shengguan Furong felt like vomiting blood. Ni Tsuehua and Ni Yang exchanged a glance and smiled. It's Yang Yang's good fortune if you would consider her as your goddaughter. Seeing that there were so many people present, if they denied the request, they would seem ungrateful. Moreover, personal relationships are really important. Many hands make light work after all. Georgiana immediately had her assistant present the prepared sapphire necklace as a token of their newfound bond. F country people adore gems. So this was an incredibly lavish sapphire necklace. The sapphires shone dazzlingly, as mysterious and alluring as the deep sea. This necklace is a relic from the last century, very valuable. A few people present recognized the origin of the necklace, and the air was filled with gasps. It seems that Georgiana was not joking, she really considered Ni Yang as her goddaughter. Georgiana put the necklace on Ni Yang herself. It's beautiful. Ni Yang was already beautiful, but wearing the sapphire necklace she looked even more radiant. Thank you, godmother. Ni Yang politely expressed her thanks. Georgiana extended her arms to hug Ni Tsuehua. You have a wonderful daughter. You flatter us. Who amongst those present was not envious of Ni Tsuehua? People initially thought that Ni Tsuehua, a rural woman, would embarrass herself at the engagement ceremony. Surprisingly, not only did she not embarrass herself, but she also brought great honor to herself. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 681. All the stars surround the moon. Infinite scenery _1. The person who felt the most uncomfortable at that moment had to be Shengguan Furong. She had been running around for Shengguan Dehui's engagement, even inviting Li Long over, only to find out that she had ended up preparing the wedding outfit for Ni Tsuehua and her daughter, Ni Yang. The person who should have been in the limelight was supposed to be her. How did it turn out to be Ni Tsuehua and Ni Yang? How did they even know Mr. Abner? Just two country bumpkins, what gave them the right? The more Shengguan Furong thought about it, the less willing she was to accept it, almost wishing she could tear Ni Tsuehua's face into pieces. Furong. Zhao Xin gently tugged at her sleeve. What is it? Shengguan Furong turned her head impatiently. Zhao Shen swallowed then said, "Shall we also offer a toast to brother and sister-in-law?" Shangguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua were the stars of the evening. All the guests took the initiative to toast to them. It would seem a bit strange if they didn't. Shangguan Farong rolled her eyes at Zhao Shen. Sister-in-law? The wedding hasn't even taken place yet. How is she considered a sister-in-law? I said you're stupid and you really are stupid. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New. Even if they were married, they could still get divorced. Not to mention Shangguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua were not even married yet. But, Zhao Shen was somewhat troubled. But our mom is watching and there are so many relatives and friends here. Farong, let's just go over there. There were so many people present, they couldn't possibly embarrass the old Shangguan madam. Shangguan Farong weighed the pros and cons and finally chose to pick up the wine glass, and with Zhao Shen, they went up to Shangguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua. Brother, Dia, Zhao Shen and I toast to you. Zhao Shen stood by holding his glass. Thank you, Farong. Enai Tsuehua raised her cup and clinked it with hers. Shangguan Dehui remained silent as he held little Enai Yun with one arm, taking a sip from his drink. Shangguan Farong subtly bit her lip, knowing that Shangguan Dehui was still upset about the incident last time. But that incident wasn't her fault to begin with. Moreover, old Madame Shangguan had slapped her, and she already apologized to Enai Yang. Now Shangguan Dehui couldn't even tell right from wrong, all for Enai Tsuehua. Does he even deserve to be a brother? Miss Enai, Mr. Shangguan, congratulations. Mr. Abner walked over from the other side with his glass in hand. Mr. Abner. Shangguan Dehui raised his glass to him. Georgia even claimed Enai Yang as her daughter. Mr. Abner giving a toast was trivial. In comparison, Mr. Abner was still a junior in front of Shangguan Dehui. Shangguan Farong squinted her eyes. She, being Shangguan Dehui's sister, would be considered as Mr. Abner's aunt. Being the elder, Mr. Abner should certainly toast to her also. As long as Mr. Abner offered her a toast, at least she could somewhat recover her lost face. Thinking like this, her heart was slightly comforted. Shangguan Farong straightened her back, waiting for Mr. Abner to toast her. However, not only did Mr. Abner not toast her, but he walked away with Shangguan Dehui instead. Apparently the two had something to discuss. Enai Tsuehua took little Enai Yun from Shangguan Dehui and chatted with Georgia. In a conversation between two men, Shangguan Farong couldn't really have a say. She should find Georgia instead. Georgia was Mr. Abner's mother. If she managed to please Georgia, it was the same as pleasing Mr. Abner. But it seemed that Georgia was already engaged in a conversation with Enai Tsuehua. Shangguan Farong naturally wouldn't stoop so low to initiate a conversation with Enai Tsuehua. Toasting her was already giving her plenty of face. If anything, Enai Tsuehua should be the one coming over with Georgia. She was the only remaining daughter-in-law in the Shangguan family, so Enai Tsuehua should think of a way to please her. Just like Lin Fang trying to please her. Unfortunately, Enai Tsuehua didn't have the slightest comprehension of that. If Enai Tsuehua was willing to bring Georgia over tonight, she would forgive Enai Tsuehua. If Enai Tsuehua wasn't willing to take a hint, she would never forgive Enai Tsuehua in her life. Shangguan Farong squinted her eyes. She had waited for so long, but Enai Tsuehua never took the initiative to please her. Shangguan Farong was so angry that it was making her sick. She left before the engagement banquet was over without uttering a word, leaving Zhao Shen behind to clean up the mess. Old Madame Shangguan looked at Zhao Shen and said apologetically, "Zhao Shen, Farong has always been over-competitive, that must have upset you quite a few times." Zhao Shen responded with a smile, "It's fine. I know Farong is not a bad person." He had grown used to it over the years. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 682. All the stars surround the moon, infinite scenery under. Arguing further has no point. Today was supposed to be a day of joy. Old Mrs. Shangguan didn't want to bring up these unpleasant matters. But Shangguan Farong had truly overstepped her bounds. She just up and left without a word. What would Enai Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui think of that? Old Mrs. Shangguan continued, "Zhao Shen, there are times when a man should stand tall. Don't let her keep bullying you." Zhao Shen nodded, "Mom, I understand. Don't worry, Farong isn't that unreasonable of a person." Old Mrs. Shangguan let out a soft sigh, "I know exactly what sort of person she is. Now, I heard that Farong and Lin Fang have been getting pretty close lately?" "It seems that way." Zhao Shen continued to nod. Old Mrs. Shangguan continued, Lin Fang is a very calculating person. She acts one way from the front and another from the back. When it comes to guile, Furong can't outplay her. I've already warned Furong, and you should also be wary of Lin Fang. Shangguan Furong is the type of person that wears her flaws on her face. She speaks her mind. If she had a bit of cunning in her, she wouldn't just up and leave without even saying hello. Whilst Lin Fang is rotten to the core, the type of person who acts like a human in front of others and a devil behind their back. These two people simply aren't on the same level. Shangguan Furong isn't a match for Lin Fang. Zhao Shen understood the implication behind old Mrs. Shangguan's words. Alright mom, don't worry, I'll be mindful. Source, web novel. Com, updated on new. Old Mrs. Shangguan nodded. Good, with your words I am reassured. In reality, Zhao Shen is a very clever person. Otherwise, the Zhao family would not have lasted as long as they have, but rather they continue to flourish. The reason he carries no weight in Zhao family matters and always listens to Shangguan Furong is simply because he's in love with her. He truly likes Shangguan Furong. Back in the day he paid quite a price to marry Shangguan Furong. Taking advantage of Zhao Shen's love for her, Shangguan Furong does as she pleases in the Zhao family, acting arrogantly and willfully. Even old Mrs. Zhao has to live at the mercy of her moods. Zhao Shen continued, I'll go speak with my brother and sister-in-law now, so they won't misunderstand Furong. Old Mrs. Shangguan nodded. After the engagement ceremony ended, Anai Yang and Mo Qishan escorted Georgia and Mr. Abner to the door. Shangguan Dehui and Anai Tsuehua were seeing off the other guests. Mo Qishan stepped forward, embodying the true gentleman as he held the car door open for them. Please. Georgia was holding onto Anai Yang's arm. She leaned in and whispered, Yang, you have a wonderful boyfriend. It was evident from Mo Qishan's words and actions that he truly cared for Anai Yang. Thank you. Mr. Abner looked at Mo Qishan. Yang is my mother's goddaughter, so wouldn't that make us somewhat like brothers? Mo Qishan gave a slight nod. It is my honor. Mr. Abner said, being able to call myself brother to Mr. Mo is my honor. Though others were unaware of Mo Qishan's status, Mr. Abner certainly was. 3 years ago, he had seen Mo Qishan once at a large gathering in F country. He was surrounded by a crowd, like the moon surrounded by the stars, full of glamour. Simultaneously he was also the only Chinese person there. How could such a person possibly be a wastrel? Watching the car driving away, Anai Yang tugged on Mo Qishan's sleeve. Brother Mo, did you and Mr. Abner know each other ahead of time? Mo Qishan gave a slight nod. I did meet him once a couple of years ago in F country. Anai Yang laughed. No wonder I felt something off about the way you two were interacting at the party. Yang, are you jealous? Mo Qishan threw his arm over Anai Yang's shoulder, smiling as he asked. Anai Yang said helplessly, You're thinking too much? Mo Qishan lowered his gaze and stole a quick kiss on her cheek as light as a dragonfly skimming the water. Anai Yang glared at him. We're in public, mind your image, careful people see. Though Beijing wasn't as conservative in 1984, public displays of affection were still a rarity. Then we'll do it secretly in the future, Anai Yang. All these events were noticed by Shangguan Su from the second floor. Anai Yang was an exceptional person. As her older brother, he should shoulder his responsibilities and make sure she doesn't end up with some worthless man. Luckily, Mo Qishan wasn't as despicable as the rumors suggested. Shangguan Zu's eyes hardened and he took a swig of his drink. Zhao family residence. When Zhao Shen returned, Shangguan Furong had just finished her shower and stepped out of the bathroom. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 683, All the Stars Surround the Moon, Infinite Scenery _3. She wore a deep purple bathrobe, her eyebrows and eyes were less dominant than usual and she looked softer. Zhao Shen gazed at her as if seeing the shy young girl from 15 years ago. His heart stirred for a moment as he moved to embrace Shangguan Furong, only to be roughly pushed away by her. You're sleeping in the guest room tonight. Shangguan Furong was still upset about what had happened at the engagement banquet today, so she naturally wasn't pleased with Zhao Shen. As for Shangguan Furong's orders, Zhao Shen never dared to disobey. He gathered up his bedding and change of clothes, shoved open the door and began walking towards the study. Zhao Shen just reached the living room when the old lady Zhao descended from the stairs above. Did Furong kick you out again? Zhao Shen nodded. Old lady Zhao heaved a sigh. How many times has it been this month? Mom, I'm fine. Zhao Shen continued. I'm going to bed, you should also go to sleep early. Watching Zhao Shen walk towards the study, Old Lady Zhao furrowed her brow deeply. She walked over, picked up the telephone and dialed a number. After hanging up, Old Lady Zhao headed towards the Buddha hall in the backyard. The Zhao family study was quite large. Having freshly emerged from the bathroom, the telephone on the desk began to ring. Zhao Shen walked over to answer it. Hello? A soft and urgent female voice came from across the line. Hello? Is this Sister Farong? Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New. It was clearly Lin Fang's voice. This is Zhao Shen. There was a moment of pause on the other side of the line. Then came the voice, brother-in-law, him at a public telephone booth on Cart Road. It's raining heavily outside, my bicycle has been stolen, and I think someone has been following me. Can you help me? Other than Sister Farong, I really can't find anyone else to help me. As she spoke her last words, Lin Fang's voice was filled with a sobbing tone. She sounded lonely and helpless, completely irresistible. Zhao Shen was inherently a righteous man. Faced with such a situation, he naturally couldn't ignore it. All right. Stay right there, I'll be right there. Thank you, brother-in-law. Lin Fang hung up the phone, her face streaked with tears, yet a smirk of triumph played at the corner of her mouth. It rained heavily. The rain plinked and plunked upon the eaves, even mixed with bits of snow. Zhao Shen drove off, the headlight in the dark splitting the night with a ray of stark white light, illuminating his way. Hearing the engine of the car, Old Lady Zhao, who was seated in the Buddha hall, knocked on her bead bracelet, then suddenly put down her hammer, stood up, and lit a stick of incense that she placed in the censer. Amit Ba. Old Lady Zhao joined her hands together and devoutly bowed her head. Meanwhile, Shangguan Farong had fallen into a deep sleep. Cart Road wasn't far from the Zhao family house, and Zhao Shen easily found the telephone booth mentioned by Lin Fang. Holding an umbrella, he stepped out of the car. Xiaolin? Comrade Xiaolin? Upon hearing Zhao Shen's voice, Lin Fang, who had been crouching in the corner of the telephone booth, immediately stood up as if seeing hope. She ran over to Zhao Shen and threw her arms around him, breaking into uncontrollable sobs. Lin Fang and Shangguan Farong were vastly different. Lin Fang was a delicate woman who needed protection, while Shangguan Farong was unyieldingly assertive. Zhao Shen was a man, and deep within his bones, hidden away, was a desire to conquer and to protect. Lin Fang's behavior, however, made up for what Shangguan Farong lacked. For a while, Zhao Shen found it hard to push Lin Fang away. Recalling how he had just been kicked out of their room by Shangguan Farong, Zhao Shen began to feel angry. In a fit of what felt like revenge, he embraced Lin Fang, dropping the black umbrella to the ground. The icy raindrops instantly soaked their clothes. On Lin Fang's face, a smug smile curled up at the corner of her mouth. Zhao Shen couldn't escape from her grasp after all. Thank you for coming, brother-in-law. Lin Fang choked out. Get in the car, I'll take you home. Okay. Lin Fang nodded. The two got in the car and Zhao Shen handed Lin Fang a dry towel. Wipe your face. Thank you, brother-in-law. Lin Fang accepted the towel and then asked, Can I call you by your name? That question carried a deep implication. Zhao Shen fell silent. Farong is older than you, it's better if you call me brother-in-law. At his words, although Lin Fang's face showed disappointment, she did not feel disheartened in her heart. Zhao Shen hadn't pushed her away earlier, indicating that he was wavering. Some things had to be taken step by step. Zhao Shen started the engine to leave. Just as the car reached the foot of the building, Lin Fang said, I don't want to go home. Then where do you want to go? Zhao Shen turned his head to look at Lin Fang. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 684. All the stars surround the moon, infinite scenery _4. Lin Fang looked at Zhao Shen, her face pale. As long as I don't have to go home, anywhere will do. Zhao Shen stayed silent for a while, ultimately choosing to drive away. Eventually, Zhao Shen parked in front of a villa with Lin Fang. Zhao Shen was truly wealthy, this villa was just one of many properties he owned. Looking at the luxurious villa, a determined expression flashed in Lin Fang's eyes. Zhao Shen led Lin Fang inside, where a servant immediately greeted them, Mr. Zhao. Zhao Shen nodded in acknowledgement. The servant looked up and was taken aback to see that the person accompanying Mr. Zhao this time was not Mrs. Zhao. Despite her surprise, the servant didn't show it. She was just a servant, her job was to perform her duties properly. Zhao Shen took Lin Fang to the master bedroom on the 3rd floor. If you don't want to go home, you can stay here for the night. There are clothes in the closet, but they are all in Furong's size. If you don't mind, feel free to change into one. Lin Fang didn't say a word, her eyes cast down. She wanted to take a gamble. Just as Zhao Shen was about to turn and leave, she suddenly stood up and hugged Zhao Shen. Zhao Shen, I don't want to stay here temporarily, I want to live here forever. Also, I want the wardrobe to be filled with our clothes. Zhao Shen stiffened. After a long pause, he gently unclenched Lin Fang's hands. I'm sorry, we can't do this. I only love Farong. It's alright. I don't mind who you love as long as you know I love you, Lin Fang said. As long as you're willing to be with me, I don't mind being nameless. Wuxia World. Sight Wuxia World. Sight Lin Fang's love was humble. She knew that she would only earn Zhao Shen's sympathy and pity by showing her humility. She was not Shengguan Farong who was messing around with Zhao Shen's feelings just because he liked her. No. Zhao Shen coldly pushed Lin Fang away. What we are doing is wrong. Lin Fang looked at Zhao Shen and asked, Are you afraid of Shengguan Farong? Her words were like a catalyst, instantly igniting Zhao Shen's desire for revenge. Why should he fear Shengguan Farong? Lin Fang walked over. We are both pitiful people, why don't we rely on each other for warmth? This time, Zhao Shen didn't reject Lin Fang but instead embraced her. Somewhere along the line, someone turned off the light in the bedroom, leaving everything enveloped in darkness. In Beijing, it was customary for a bride-to-be to spend 3 nights at her groom's home after the engagement. She could only return home after 3 days. And Ai Yang didn't want to remain as the third wheel. Moreover, she had workers to supervise at home, hence she didn't stay. Shengguan Dehui arranged for transportation to send the other villagers back. And Ai Yang, however, rode in Mo Qixin's car. Yang. Mo Qixin, eyes focused on the road ahead, asked in a seemingly casual way. What's up? And Ai Yang tilted her head slightly. Are you brave? Mo Qixin asked back. And Ai Yang nodded, quite. After all, what was there to be afraid of for someone who had experienced death before? Upon hearing this, a hint of disappointment flashed in Mo Qixin's eyes as he continued, Yang, are you afraid of ghosts? No. And Ai Yang shook her head. Why do other girls fear ghosts but you don't? Questioned Mo Qixin. And Ai Yang laughed. Brother Mo, if you have something to say, just say it directly. No need to beat around the bush. Mo Qixin cleared his throat and said simply, Well, I'm saying if you're afraid of being at home alone, I can stay with you. As soon as he finished speaking, Mo Qixin added, Yang, don't misunderstand, I'm just worried you might be scared. And Ai Yang squinted her eyes. Are you harboring ulterior motives? I'm not. Yang, don't slander me. Mo Qixin's ears turned red. Tiske Thisi. And Ai Yang reached out to pinch his ear. Look at you, pretending to be a gentleman. Boss, I was wrong. Please forgive me. Focus on driving, don't think about unnecessary things. And Ai Yang sat up straight, turned on the car stereo, and a light song immediately filled the air. The tips of the peach leaves are sharp, the willow leaves cover the sky, listen to my words, O Emperor Ming. This song, Exploring the Clearwater River, was a narrative song popular in Beijing. And Ai Yang remembered that in her previous life, a handsome young man turned this narrative song into a pop hit. Chapter 685. All the stars surround the moon, infinite scenery under 5. At this moment in the 80s, hearing this ancient song again gave a sense of being transported through time and space. And Ai Yang hummed along to it as she listened. Her voice was clear and melodious. When she hummed a tune, it carried an indescribable charm, like a gentle breeze in April, cleansing souls and refreshing minds. Mo Qixin glanced her way, a faint smile playing at the corner of his mouth. Even though he had slowed down, they quickly arrived at Jinghua village. And Ai Yang got out of the car. Mo Qixin accompanied her to the entrance of the Ni family courtyard. Yang, remember to be safe when you're alone at home at night. Don't open the door to strangers, he cautioned. And Ai Yang laughed and said, Isn't Aunt and I next door? Don't worry, you'll be fine. Mo Qixin hugged her. His eyes spoke of his reluctance to leave. And Ai Yang returned his hug and said, Brother Mo, to be honest, I'm quite scared. Why don't you stay and protect me? Even though society was conservative concerning male-female relationships, inviting a man to stay for the night was quite daring. But Ai Yang trusted Mo Qixin. Despite sometimes being mischievous, Mo Qixin was an uncommonly honorable man. Really? Mo Qixin's eyes lit up. Wuxia World. Sight, really? And Ai Yang nodded. They both went inside the house together. And Ai Yang prepared the next room for him. Brother Mo, you can stay here tonight. There's a bathroom in the room. Okay. Mo Qixin nodded in agreement. That night, Mo Chishan had the most restful sleep ever. The next morning, Mo Chishan was up before dawn. Since Nai Tsuehua was not home, he would take up the responsibility of caring for Nai Yang. He wanted to prepare a surprise for Nai Yang. Mo Chishan quietly went downstairs to the kitchen, rolled up his sleeves and prepared to make breakfast. The kitchen of the Nai family was designed by Nai Yang. On one side there was a simple Western-style gas stove. On the other side there was a traditional Chinese stove for burning firewood. Under normal circumstances, both Nai Yang and Nai Tsuehua used the traditional stove, as food cooked over a wood fire was much tastier than that cooked on a gas stove. After a bit of thought, Mo Chishan decided to use the traditional stove. Mo Chishan had not known how to cook before. He had never even been inside a kitchen. However, after spending so much time with Nai Yang and often being her assistant, he gradually learned to cook. Mo Chishan opened the refrigerator. There was pork, tomatoes, leeks, greens and other ingredients inside. So, he decided to make pork and chai-filled dumplings for breakfast and tomato and vegetable noodles. From what he observed, Nai Yang loved noodles. Like Nai Yang, Mo Chishan was a man of action and started cooking immediately. Packing dumplings was not difficult, Nai Yang had taught him before. Though his dumplings didn't look as good as Nai Yang's, they were decent. As the minutes and seconds passed, the light outside grew brighter, and a streak of golden morning light shone through the window. When Nai Yang came down the stairs, she saw an apron-wrapped man, who usually exuded a chill aura, busily bustling around the stove. From Nai Yang's perspective, she had a perfect view of his sharp yet beautiful side profile. His thin lips were a barely visible line, he was deeply focused on cutting the tomatoes. His hands were very beautiful, clean, tidy, the joints well-defined, symmetrical and long. He was merely cutting tomatoes, but he did it with the authority of a powerful ruler. He who excels in study can follow an official career, he who excels in martial arts can become a guard. Nai Yang found this phrase fitting for Mo Chishan. Brother Mo. Nai Yang went to Mo Chishan's side. Yang. Mo Chishan looked surprised. How did you wake up so early? The food won't be ready for a while. Nai Yang laughed. Maybe I should take over, cooking isn't really a man's job. Gender equality has long been recognized. Who said that the kitchen necessarily belonged to girls? Mo Chishan continued, Boss, your thinking is not advanced enough. Mo Chishan used to believe that a kitchen was not a place for a man. A man should be ambitious and can't allow himself to be confined to the kitchen. But ever since he met Nai Yang, let alone cooking in the kitchen, even if he had to scrub clothes or clean the toilet, he had not a single complaint. Nai Yang laughed lightly, all right, your thinking is advanced. Anyway, what's for breakfast? There are steamed dumplings and tomato noodles. Mo Chishan continued, is there anything special you want to eat? I can make it for you. Chapter 686, Breaking News. _1 Lady Zhao never complained. Even if she did have any complaints, she dared not to voice them. After eating a few donuts, Shangguan Farong spoke again. Also, the porridge today doesn't seem as thick as yesterday's. Mom, did you wake up late this morning? Upon hearing this, Lady Zhao, who was holding a donut, immediately stopped. Last night, she had spent almost the entire night in the Buddha Hall, indeed waking up a bit later than usual this morning. Could it be? Had Shangguan Farong noticed something? A chill ran down Lady Zhao's spine. She raised her head to glance at Shangguan Farong before saying, Sure, I'll pay more attention tomorrow morning. Shangguan Farong nodded contentedly, and I want to eat crystal pan-fried dumplings for breakfast tomorrow. It seemed Shangguan Farong hadn't noticed anything, thus Lady Zhao let out a sigh of relief. After finishing breakfast, Shangguan Farong took out a tissue, elegantly wiped her mouth. By the way, where's Zhao Shen? Lady Zhao flinched but quickly tried to regain her composure. He had something to do and went out. Oh. Shangguan Farong nodded, paying it no further thought. I'm going over to my mom's. Today was Nai Kuihua's first day at the Shangguans. Naturally she had to go and check on her. Otherwise, what standing would she have in the Shangguan household in the future? Wuxia World. Site Wuxia World. Site. Nai Tsuehua was a new daughter-in-law, and as such she should serve her a cup of tea. She missed the opportunity last night, but this morning she would definitely put Nai Tsuehua in her place. Sure. Lady Zhao stood up and escorted Shangguan Farong to the door. Seeing Shangguan Farong's disappearing figure, a layer of fine sweat formed on Lady Zhao's forehead. Just as Shangguan Farong left, Zhao Shen drove in. A ray of light flashed in Lady Zhao's eyes, and she went up to meet him at once. Shenbao. Mom? Zhao Shen got out of the car. Zhao Shen glanced at Lady Zhao. Mom, Lady Zhao waved her hand. Don't say anything, I understand. Have you had breakfast yet? Zhao Shen shook his head. Lady Zhao replied, come in and have a meal then, the soup is still hot. Okay. Zhao Shen nodded and followed Lady Zhao inside. Lady Zhao served Zhao Shen some porridge. Zhao Shen looked around the dining room. Where's Farong? She went to her mother's house. Lady Zhao replied. Zhao Shen lowered his head to drink a spoonful of porridge. Farong, she didn't find out anything, did she? No. Lady Zhao shook her head. That's good. Zhao Shen sighed in relief. Mom, the porridge you make is really delicious. His mood had improved. Even the plain porridge tasted better. Lady Zhao replied, you have a sweet tongue. A moment ago, Farong thought my porridge wasn't thick enough. Zhao Shen paused while drinking his porridge. Lady Zhao was now 78 years old, an age when one should be enjoying the tranquility of life, yet she had to endure the displeasure of her daughter-in-law. Despite having maids at home, Lady Zhao had to make breakfast every morning because Shangguan Farong preferred her cooking. It was forgivable that Shangguan Farong didn't express gratitude, but her complaints were unacceptable. It was his fault for not being filial. Lady Zhao, as if sensing Zhao Shen's concerns, laughed and said, Shenbao, you don't need to worry about me. As we age, waking up early and moving around to exercise is good for our bodies. People are like machines, if we don't move, we rust. Is it not just making breakfast? I've dealt with much worse when I was young. In her youth, she endured hardship. Now, when life has improved, she is still facing hardship. Upon hearing this, Zhao Shen felt worse. He quickly finished a bowl of porridge and ran upstairs saying, Mom, I'm full. As Lady Zhao watched Zhao Shen's retreating figure, a glint of determination flashed in her eyes. After so many years, it was time for Zhao Shen to stand up for himself. Shangguan Farong arrived at the Shangguans. Lady Shangguan was in the living room playing with little Anai Yun. Mom, where are my brother and Daya? Shangguan Farong had been in the house for quite some time, and she hadn't seen Anai Tsuehua, this newlywed, come forward to greet her. How rude. Lady Shangguan peeled a grape for little Anai Yun. They went out to watch a movie. It was currently the 11th month of the lunar calendar, and due to limited preservation technology, grapes were rare and difficult to buy, even for the wealthy. Shangguan Farong was shocked when she saw Lady Shangguan feeding little Anai Yun grapes. Did a child with no blood relation really deserve such good treatment from Lady Shangguan? Shangguan Farong noticed that Lady Shangguan treated little Anai Yun no different from her own grandchildren, Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing. Chapter 687. Breaking News. _2. But Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing are her own great-grandchildren, can they be compared? Lady Shangguan really can't seem to prioritize. They went to watch a movie and left you alone at home to take care of the child? Yes. Lady Shangguan nodded. Our little Yun Yun is so well-behaved and obedient. Yun Yun, call Auntie. Auntie, little Anai Yun crisply called. Shangguan Farong ignored little Anai Yun and continued, Why? Why do they go out to have fun and leave you alone at home to take care of the child? A child that has no blood relation with the Shangguan family. Shangguan Farong is now filled with anger. Because I really like little Yun Yun? Lady Shangguan picked up little Anai Yun and decided to ignore Shangguan Farong. She really loved little Anai Yun a lot. Usually Shangguan Dehue rarely came home, and Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi only returned on holidays. She was very bored alone at home, often just sitting on the sofa in a daze. But now it was different. Now she had little Anai Yun. Little Anai Yun was like a pistachio. With her company, Lady Shangguan felt she had grown a lot younger. Does she still go by the surname Anai? Continued Shangguan Farong. Lady Shangguan frowned slightly. Farong, can't you worry less? Mom, do you really think we're charitable, raising other people's children? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Shangguan Farong crossed her arms. Little Anai Yun didn't understand what the adults were saying and blinked curiously. Lady Shangguan hugged little Anai Yun tightly. Yun Yun, do you want to swing and slide in the back garden with Grandma? So that little Anai Yun could have more fun, Lady Shangguan had splurged to bring in a slide from another town. Sure. Little Anai Yun nodded. Lady Shangguan didn't bother with Shangguan Farong anymore. She took little Anai Yun to the back garden. Shangguan Farong watched Lady Shangguan's retreating figure, shook her head helplessly, and went to the master bedroom on the second floor. This was the room where Shangguan Dehue and Anai Tsuehua stayed last night. Shangguan Farong pushed open the door. The room was arranged very warmly with a red scarf hanging on the coat rack. Shangguan Farong pushed open the bathroom door. A row of skincare products was set on the wash basin, all of which were the supreme edition of Icy Skin Jade. Without thinking, she knew that these skincare products belonged to Enai Tsuehua. With Enai Kuihua's status as a country woman, did she deserve such high-quality things? Shangguan Farong frowned, picked up a bottle of essence milk and sniffed it. The supreme edition seemed to smell much better than the regular edition. Enai Tsuehua was just a peasant woman. Where did she get the money to buy Icy Skin Jade? Without having to think, she knew these cosmetics must have been given to her by Shangguan Dehui. Stealing was not Shangguan Furong's style. But using it shouldn't be a problem, right? After all, this was bought with the Shangguan family's money. Shangguan Farong turned on the faucet and washed her face carefully with face wash, followed by lotion and essential oils. She didn't know if it was just her imagination, but she felt this supreme edition was much better than the regular edition. She didn't even get to buy such a good thing. How come Enai Tsuehua got to benefit? Shangguan Farong looked at herself in the mirror and frowned slightly. By now, she had forgotten that Enai Tsuehua once gave her a box of the supreme edition Icy Skin Jade. She didn't cherish it and even questioned it as a fake, which embarrassed Enai Tsuehua. Shangguan Farong then opened the door of the neighboring cabinet. This cabinet was filled with perfumes and shampoos. But more importantly, Shangguan Farong found another box of extra supreme edition Icy Skin Jade. People queue up and couldn't buy it, but Enai Tsuehua had one for herself and another one to spare. Was this set of Icy Skin Jade meant to please her? Shangguan Farong narrowed her eyes and reached out to take the gift box. It took her a while before she put the gift box back. Even if Enai Tsuehua wanted to please her, she wouldn't accept Enai Tsuehua so easily. Unless Enai Tsuehua was willing to willingly change Enai Yang's and Enai Yun's surnames to Shangguan. Otherwise she would never accept Enai Tsuehua. Shangguan Farong looked around the room for a while, then went downstairs. "Farong, what were you doing upstairs?" asked Lady Shangguan, hugging little Enai Yun as she came in from outside. Shangguan Farong said, "Mom, what a strange question. This is my home. Isn't there anywhere I'm not allowed to go?" Chapter 688, Breaking News. _3. That's not what I meant. The old lady Shangguan continued, "Your brother and Daya are very happy together and you as a sister should offer blessings, not create chaos." "I know," Shangguan Farong replied. Old lady Shangguan went on, "And I have to repeat, keep an eye on Lin Fang. You're so stubborn and it will be your downfall." Shangguan Farong laughed and said, "Mother, you've been saying this all the time. Have you ever considered my feelings? Lin Fang is my best friend. I trust her just as you trust Daya. How would you feel if I continuously spoke ill of Daya in front of you?" Shangguan Farong and Lin Fang were very good friends now, and she didn't believe Lin Fang would do anything to harm her. Old lady Shangguan sighed, "I'm just saying, whether you listen or not is up to you." Shangguan Farong originally planned to stay at the Shangguan family until Enai Tsuehua returned. After all, Enai Tsuehua still had the Ice Skin Jade to give her. But she waited until the afternoon, and Enai Tsuehua had not returned yet. Shangguan Farong no longer had the patience to wait. She planned to play cards with the rich ladies. Now that she had a membership card for Gus Tianxiang, she naturally went to the third floor of Gus Tianxiang to play cards. Not far from the Shangguan household, Shangguan Farong ran into Lin Fang. "Sister Farong, where are you going?" "To play cards," Shangguan Farong answered. Lin Fang said with envy, "Having a loving husband is really different. Unlike me, I can only play on my rest days. Where would I find the time to play otherwise?" Shangguan Farong laughed smugly, "So, it's not only about finding a good husband for a woman but also having the ability to manage the family." Lin Fang nodded, "You're right, Sister Farong. I'm envious of capable women like you." "I'm simply not like that." Shangguan Farong patted Lin Fang's hand, "These things can't be forced." Lin Fang seemed envious on the surface but was scoffing inside. What did Shangguan Farong have to be so smug about? Did she know that Zhao Shen had already betrayed her? It wouldn't be long before Zhao Shen would discard Shangguan Farong like trash. Lin Fang continued, "Sister Farong, can I accompany you to play cards and broaden my horizons?" Shangguan Farong agreed without a second thought because Lin Fang made such a thoughtful request. The two went to the VIP room on the third floor of Gus Tianxiang. Lin Fang said, "Thanks to Sister Farong, it's my first time in such a sophisticated place." Shangguan Farong turned around in surprise, "But isn't the membership card from you?" Lin Fang laughed a little then said, "Sister Farong, how can I afford such an expensive membership card? Someone gave it to me too. With my status, if you weren't with me I wouldn't be in such a place." Only you, Sister Farong, can use this membership card. Lin Fang's flattery made Shangguan Farong very happy. As soon as they opened the door of the VIP room, Jia Jinjin, Zhao Yun, and another rich lady had already arrived. Shangguan Farong introduced Lin Fang to everyone. Hello sisters, I am Lin Fang. Please take care of me in the future. Take care of me in the future? That could be interesting. The other three exchanged glances, all seeing confusion in each other's eyes. Lin Fang had excellent social skills, and through her flattery she quickly became accepted within this inner circle. That evening Shangguan Farong brought Lin Fang back to the Zhao family. When Zhao Xin saw Lin Fang he was slightly surprised and seemed somewhat unnatural. This was not Lin Fang's first time at the Zhao family. However, considering what had transpired between the two of them the night before, their encounter now was somewhat awkward. What are you waiting for? Go make some tea for Lin Fang. Shangguan Farong rolled her eyes at Zhao Xin. Shangguan Farong was deliberately showing off her status in the family in front of Lin Fang. Little did she know, it's crucial to save face for a man in front of outsiders. Lin Fang swiftly took the teapot from Zhao Xin's hands, her fingers brushing against his palm. She smiled and asked, "Why would we need brother-in-law for this? I can do it myself. Sister Farong, do you like sugar in your tea?" Shangguan Farong, who was accustomed to domineering and others' compliance, failed to notice anything amiss. "No, I like pure green tea." "All right." Lin Fang went to make the tea. Chapter 689, Breaking News. _4. Old Lady Zhao stood in front of the carved railing on the third floor, watching everything below, her lips curling upwards slightly. All peacetime is born out of the ashes of warfare, it applies to a family as well. Only after experiencing war can one truly understand peace. Otherwise, some people would simply not know how to cherish it. In the evening Lin Fang stayed for dinner at the Zhao's. All was tranquil at the dinner table, but under it Lin Fang discreetly kicked Zhao Xin. Zhao Xin, taken aback, looked up, only to see Lin Fang's smiling face. Fearing that Shangguan Farong would notice, he quickly resumed eating. "You guys carry on, I'm going to the restroom." Lin Fang put down her chopsticks and headed towards the restroom. "I'm off for a smoke." Zhao Xin also left the table. As soon as he stepped out of the dining room, someone gently grabbed his wrist. The pair slipped into the storeroom at the end of the corridor. "I missed you." In the darkness they embraced tightly. Across the hallway and around the corner was the dining room, where Shangguan Farong was finishing her meal. She was unaware that her husband and her good friend were in a tight embrace on the other side of the wall. What an irony. After a while they showed up in the dining room one after the other. After dinner Lin Fang suggested leaving. To emphasize her status within the Zhao family, Shangguan Farong said, "Zhao Xin, drive Lin Fang home." Is it appropriate?" Zhao Xin hesitated. Shangguan Farong's face turned cold. "Do as you're told. Enough of your nonsense." Zhao Xin nodded silently, picked up the car keys and left. Lin Fang laughed. "Sister Farong, you really know how to handle your brother-in-law. Piece of cake." Lin Fang looked extremely pleased. The next morning Shangguan Farong made another visit to the Shangguan house. As she entered the Shangguan's courtyard, she ran into Enai Tsuehua escorting Su Lian out of the entrance. "Farong." Enai Tsuehua took the initiative to greet her. Shangguan Farong responded indifferently with a nod. She was still bothered about Enai Kuihua's status. If it wasn't for Shangguan Dihui's infatuation, Enai Tsuehua wouldn't be able to set foot inside the Shangguan residence. At this moment Shangguan Farong noticed that Su Lian was holding a box of the Supreme Edition Ice Skin Jade Beauty. Wasn't that Ice Skin Jade Beauty something Enai Tsuehua used to curry favor with her? Then why was it now taken away by Su Lian? Shangguan Farong felt extraordinarily upset, as if her precious possession had been stolen. Could it be that Enai Tsuehua had prepared two sets? One for Su Lian and the other for her? Lucky Su Lian, despite having nothing to do with the Shangguan family, still managed to gain a benefit here. Shangguan Farong went in with Enai Tsuehua. She waited a long time, had lunch at the Shangguans, but until dinner time when she left, Enai Tsuehua didn't present her with the Supreme Edition Ice Skin Jade Beauty. What's going on? Could it be that Enai Tsuehua had forgotten? Asking for things directly was not Shangguan Farong's style. She had ways to make Enai Tsuehua obediently give them to her. Suppressing her rage, Shangguan Farong left the Shangguans and made Zhao Xin sleep in the study that night. Today was the 14th of November, Mo Kishin's birthday. Enai Yang got up early in the morning. She put on a plain white cheongsam, threw a maroon coat over it, grabbed the gift she had prepared, greeted Ni Tsuehua and left the house. Yet Ni Yang didn't go directly to Missouri Kishin's place. Instead, she rode her bicycle to the rose garden. Jinghua village had almost 300 acres of rose fields. Since it was winter, the rose garden was covered with plastic sheets to form a greenhouse. There was straw on the outside of the greenhouse to keep the interior warm. Even though it was deep winter, the greenhouse was filled with fiery red roses, an exquisite sight. Yang, why have you come so early? Auntie Lin, who was looking after the greenhouse, was surprised to see Ni Yang. Ni Yang parked her bike and smiled. Auntie Lin, I've come to pick some roses. This patch of roses belonged to Auntie Lin's family. Ever since they planted roses, Auntie Lin had made 200 or 300 yuan. Seeing Ni Yang was like seeing the god of wealth for her. She laughed, saying, come in, it's cold outside. Feel free to pick whatever roses you like from the garden. Generally they would pick roses, weigh them, and deliver them to the Ni family. Ni Yang personally coming over most likely meant she wanted to pick a few roses to put in a vase back home. Just typical of a girl who loved flowers and plants. Ni Yang went inside with Auntie Lin. Chapter 690, Breaking News. _5. Aunt Lin handed Ni Yang a pair of scissors. Yang, just cut whichever one you fancy, don't stand on ceremony with me. Thank you, Aunt Lin. Ni Yang took the scissors and picked out the roses with the most attractive buds, cutting 36 roses. Then, Ni Yang took out 3 colored pieces of plastic paper and a red string from her bag to wrap the roses. Just a bit of wrapping paper dramatically elevated the roses' appeal. Aunt Lin was amazed. Yang, you're truly impressive. Ni Yang laughed. Aunt Lin, it's the roses that are beautiful to begin with. After wrapping the roses, Ni Yang took out a yuan coin from her pocket and gave it to Aunt Lin. She paid 3 cents per pound for the roses in the village. With 36 roses including branches and leaves, it was about 2 to 3 pounds. Aunt Lin refused to take Ni Yang's money. It's just a few roses, Yang. If you insist on paying, wouldn't that belittle me? Ni Yang laughed and said, this is what you make a living from and I can't just take it for free. Please keep the money, otherwise I won't have the nerve to come over and pick roses next time. Unable to refuse Ni Yang, Aunt Lin reluctantly took the money. Just 1 yuan is too much. These flowers weigh at most 2 pounds. Yang, you must take the change no matter what. Ni Yang took the change, picked up the roses and rode her bike to the urban area. Mo Chishan no longer lives at the Mo family home, but in his own villa. Ni Yang rode her bike to Mo Kishin's villa and rang the doorbell. Mo Chishan was not a morning person. It was only 7 o'clock in the morning, and the doorbell woke him up, leaving him in a terrible mood. Who could be at the door? His servants hadn't started working yet, and he didn't like to have strangers stay over, so he had to answer the door himself. Mo Kishin's face was taut, and his thin lips were almost a straight line as he climbed out of bed and threw off the duvet. A strong, intimidating aura radiated from him. A disgruntled boss is not a good thing. When Mo Chishan opened the door with his frosty demeanor, he was met with a bouquet of fiery red roses. Happy birthday, brother Mo. A face as beautiful as a painting emerged from behind the bouquet. Contrary to the adage, she even put the roses to shame. Instantly, Mo Chishan lost all his temper. He picked up Ni Yang and asked, Yang, how did you know today is my birthday? Ni Yang, holding the roses in one hand and wrapping her other arm around Mo Kishin's neck, responded, didn't you know I can predict the future? Yang, you're brilliant. Mo Chishan, overjoyed, spun Ni Yang around several times. No one but his parents had ever genuinely remembered his birthday. At this moment, denying his feelings would be a lie. Yang, thank you. Mo Chishan hugged Ni Yang tightly. Why are you talking nonsense? Ni Yang returned, smiling. By the way, brother Mo, besides the roses, I prepared another mysterious gift for you. Can you guess what it is? Mo Chishan rubbed his nose. A tie? No. Ni Yang shook her head. Clothes? Ni Yang continued shaking her head. Perhaps shoes. Ni Yang still shook her head. Despite guessing several items, Mo Chishan got them all wrong. Ni Yang sighed. Brother Mo, you're truly hopeless. Mo Chishan shamelessly responded, I'm dumb and you're smart, we complement each other perfectly. Only then did Ni Yang produce a gift she had started preparing months prior. Do you like it? It was a wine-colored knitted scarf. Although it didn't look too attractive, it was warm. I love it. Mo Chishan nodded hastily. Yang, did you make this yourself? Ni Yang smiled faintly. Finally, a smart guess. It was her first time knitting a scarf. It took over a month of undoing and redoing the knitting to finally finish it. Oddly, she usually picks up things quickly, but knitting scarves was not one of them. Help me put it on. Sure. Enai Yang nodded, picked up the scarf, stood on tiptoes and said, just bend down a little. Mo Chishan bent down as instructed, and Enai Yang effortlessly put the scarf around his neck. But at that moment, a cool touch suddenly grazed the corner of her lips. The scent of tobacco filled her nostrils. Light and pleasant. Just as sudden he released her. Enai Yang headed towards the kitchen. Brother Mo, you haven't had breakfast yet, have you? I'll do it. Mo Chishan followed Enai Yang's footsteps. Mo Chishan felt that as long as he was there, Enai Yang shouldn't be cooking alone. You're the birthday boy today, how could I let you cook? I'll do it. Enai Yang pushed Mo Chishan towards the door. Quickly go upstairs and get changed. Once you're dressed we can eat. Chapter 691. All the stars surround the moon, infinite scenery _6. Enai Yang shook her head. No, I just like steamed dumplings and tomato noodles. Brother Mo, you've worked hard. I've worked so hard, shouldn't you reward me a little? Here's a reward for you, a piece of tomato. Enai Yang casually picked up a piece of cut tomato and stuffed it into Mo Chishan's mouth. Mo Chishan, what he actually wanted was a good morning kiss. The Shangwan family. Today is Enai Quihua's first morning at the Shangwan family's house. Although she didn't go to bed until very late last night, she still woke up early in the morning. Today is her first day staying over at the Shangwans. If she were to oversleep, it might not make a great impression. Enai Tsuehua pulled away the covers and quietly got out of bed, when Shangwan Dehui beside her suddenly woke up. Why are you up so early? Enai Tsuehua blushed momentarily. It's already past 7. Sleep a little longer, continued Shangwan Dehui. You can rest assured our family doesn't have strict rules. If you get up too early it might make my mom feel like she did something wrong. Shangwan Dehui didn't give Enai Tsuehua a chance to hesitate. When Enai Tsuehua woke up again, it was already past 10 in the morning. Sunlight shone in from outside the window, and a tall man was standing at the foot of her bed, getting dressed, first the dress shirt, then the wool sweater. Enai Tsuehua watched all this happening, then looked out the window again, and suddenly felt like she was in a dream. She couldn't even have dreamed that her life in Beijing would take such a drastic turn. Up already? At this moment Shangwan Dehui suddenly turned around. Enai Tsuehua was caught off guard at first, then she said, Shangwan Dehui took a few steps forward. Do you want to get up now or sleep a little longer? He'll get up now. Enai Tsuehua answered. Shangwan Dehui took out clothes from the cabinet for her. I'll wait for you to go downstairs together. Okay, Enai Tsuehua nodded. Then she took the clothes to the bathroom to change. After changing and taking care of her skin, she emerged from the bathroom about 20 minutes later. She was wearing a high-necked wool sweater inside a gray-blue down jacket, which made her look very stylish and much younger than she actually was. They both went downstairs together. As soon as they got downstairs, they saw Lady Shangwan leading little Enai Yun inside from outside. The old and the young got along very well. In fact, little Enai Yun had spent last night with Lady Shangwan. Mom, they both greeted Lady Shangwan in unison. According to the local customs, they should start addressing her differently after the engagement. Shangwan's old lady walked up to them smiling happily and satisfied. Good. Mama, seeing Enai Tsuehua, little Enai Yun very coolly greeted her. Yun Yun, Enai Tsuehua walked over and picked up little Enai Yun. Daddy, hold me. Little Enai Yun stretched out his hand to Shangwan Dehui. Shangwan Dehui took little Enai Yun from Enai Quihua's arms. Old Lady Shangwan looked at the harmonious scene in front of her, beaming with satisfaction. She then said, breakfast is ready, let's go have breakfast. Also, Xiaoshu and Xiaoxi have gone to work, Dia don't mind. Enai Tsuehua laughed and said, it's okay, work is important. She usually gets along well with the kids and doesn't overthink things because she knows Xiaoshu and Xiaoxi aren't those kinds of people. Meanwhile, elsewhere, when Zhao Shen woke up, he could hardly believe what had happened last night, but the sight of Lin Fang lying next to him reminded him that the events were not a dream. He really did something that would let Shangwan Furong down. He didn't know what he had been thinking last night, but now he was deeply regretful. What should he do now? How should he face Shangwan Furong? Just then Lin Fang suddenly reached out and hugged him. Do you regret it? When did Lin Fang wake up? Zhao Shen was taken aback. Lin Fang continued, I don't regret it. After a pause she said, if you do regret it we can pretend that nothing happened. Don't worry, I won't pester you. With that, Lin Fang let go of Zhao Shen. Zhao Shen opened his mouth, suddenly at a loss for words as he didn't know what to say at the moment. Rest assured I keep my word, Lin Fang continued. I'll compensate you, Zhao Shen finally said after a long pause. The only thing he could do now was to compensate Lin Fang. I don't want your compensation, said Lin Fang. Zhao Shen, do you know? I really envy Sister Furong. I envy her for having such a good husband like you. The universe is really playing a joke on us. She has you but she doesn't know how to cherish you. I want to cherish you but I can't have you. Her tone was full of mockery by the end of it. Xiaolin Yu, Zhao Shen closed his eyes then continued, we can't continue making mistakes. Lin Fang turned around to look at Zhao Shen. Is love a mistake too? Zhao Shen fell silent. Lin Fang let out a sigh, raised the blanket and got out of bed, picked up the clothes from the floor and started to put them on one by one. Then she picked up Zhao Shen's clothes. Do you want to get up now? I can help you. Zhao Shen took his clothes. I can do it myself. But I want to help you. Lin Fang helped Zhao Shen get dressed and put on his socks, even helped him put on his shoes and tie his shoelaces. Did Sister Furong ever help you like this? No, of course not. Such a domineering person like Shagwan Furong, when did she ever lower her head? In their relationship, Zhao Shen was the one who always made the sacrifice. Zhao Shen never knew that not having to give all the time could be so enjoyable. All of a sudden, it seemed like he wasn't that regretful anymore. After all, Shangwan Furong acted out of line first. Lin Fang was sweet and considerate, much more so than Shangwan Furong. Seeing Zhao Shen's changing expressions, Lin Fang smiled smugly. Then Lin Fang continued, this is probably the first time I helped you and it will also be the last time. I won't go to your house again, and I won't go to find Sister Furong. These words were a catalyst. Zhao Shen looked at Lin Fang and said very firmly, I don't regret. That's right. He didn't regret it. Shangwan Furong didn't even notice that Zhao Shen didn't return home last night. In fact, over the years she had just been living her life carelessly, and never cared for Zhao Shen at all. Mom, these fried dough sticks seem a bit old. Because Shangwan Furong loved the fried dough sticks made by Lady Zhao, every morning's breakfast was personally prepared by her. The old lady was getting old and couldn't bear the kitchen fumes, but Shangwan Furong didn't appear to care about these things, she only cared about her own enjoyment. Chapter 692, Breaking News. _6. Emo Chishan was led upstairs by Anai Yang. In the kitchen, Anai Yang prepared to cook some longevity noodles. Soon, a bowl of tasty longevity noodles was ready. The accompaniments included an egg, some greens, with a rich pork broth that made everything so delicious. Just as Anai Yang had set the longevity noodles on the table, Emo Chishan, having changed his clothes, came down from upstairs. Brother Emo, come and eat. Yang, aren't you eating? Emo Chishan saw only one bowl of longevity noodles on the table. I already ate at home. Anai Yang said. Emo Chishan went to the kitchen and got another pair of chopsticks. Yang, shall we eat together? Anai Yang, although already full, nodded, sure. This was a small pleasure unique to couples. Such moments would be sweet memories in their old age. After breakfast, the two washed the dishes together and played around for a while before heading to the Emo family. Emo Chishan biked with her. Yang, don't we look like a young couple going home to visit parents on a holiday? Mr. Mo, please have some shame. Anai Yang was nestled against him. I never said I would marry you. Emo Chishan laughed and looked into the distance. No problem, I can marry you instead. Anai Yang raised an eyebrow slightly. You're good with being a live-in son-in-law? Emo Chishan nodded seriously. Yes. As long as Anai Yang was willing to marry him, let alone accepting the role of live-in son-in-law, even if he had to go through hell and back, he would not hesitate. Live-in son-in-law? What's that? A piece of cake. Anai Yang stroked her chin. He'll think about it. Boss, when can you give me an answer? Emo Chishan asked again. Depends on the mood. Anai Yang replied. The sun gradually rose higher, the golden warmth filled the earth, even the chilly wind became more bearable. Before long they arrived at the Emo family's villa. The two of them walked in hand, Mo's grandmother immediately ran out to hug Anai Yang. Yang is here. Today was Emo Chishan's birthday. The elderly couple knew that Anai Yang would certainly come home with Emo Chishan, so they had been waiting at home early. Auntie. At the side, Emo Chishan might as well have turned into a mass of unattended air. There was a time when he was his grandma's precious child too, but ever since Anai Yang appeared, he had become a worthless piece of metal. Even his grandfather chose to selectively ignore Emo Chishan. Yang, isn't it cold outside? Come here, I made a special milk tea for you, have a taste and see if it's good? What do you mean you made it? I handmade those pearls in it. Grandma Mo was displeased with Grandpa Mo claiming all the credit. If it weren't for me, the milk tea would have been burnt long ago. Mo Chishan, boil milk tea and make pearls? He never knew his parents were so versatile. Upon the enthusiastic invitation by Grandpa and Grandma Mo, Ni Yang ended up drinking 2 whole cups of milk tea. Downstairs was bustling. Mo Baichuan was standing on the 3rd floor, a trace of sarcasm crept up on his face. Cousin, isn't that Ni Yang? And the person sitting next to Ni Yang, isn't that your 6th uncle? Xiao Yingying asked uncertainly. Mo Chishan often stayed away from home, and Xiao Yingying hadn't met him, she had only heard of his reputation. However, she had seen Ni Yang once at the Mo family last time. Yes. Mo Baichuan nodded. Xiao Yingying then asked, is that the loser? Mo Baichuan nodded again. Xiao Yingying looked disgustingly downward. Even if he's a loser, why are your grandparents so happy? Normally if a family has a loser son, wouldn't it be cause for sadness? Xiao Yingying was somewhat confused. Mo Baichuan explained, my 6th uncle is their youngest child. Usually, the youngest one is the most cherished. Xiao Yingying nodded. By the way, cousin, when are you going to take me to meet Mr. Mog? She had been staying in the Mo family for quite some time but hadn't met anyone who could be Mr. Mog yet. She had asked Grandpa and Grandma Mo about him, but both of them said they didn't know. And it didn't seem like they were pretending. Mo Baichuan then said, you go down and greet them. Xiao Yingying frowned slightly, who wants to greet a loser? I'm going back to my room to sleep. Mo Baichuan continued, don't forget you're still living in my grandparents' house. Isn't this place yours and uncle's? Xiao Yingying asked. Mo Baichuan shook his head. Reluctantly, Xiao Yingying had to greet them, she had no choice, who asked her to be under others' roof. By the way, cousin, are you going out? Xiao Yingying turned and looked at Mo Baichuan. Yes. Xiao Yingying's eyes lit up. Cousin, are you going to see Mr. Mog? I want to go with you. Mo Baichuan reluctantly said, I am going to pick up my girlfriend. Mo Chishan was back. And Ai Yang was here too. Such a situation naturally couldn't be without Zhao Jingrong, his former fiancé. He refused to believe that Mo Chishan could still stay calm upon seeing Zhao Jingrong. And when Ai Yang found out that Zhao Jingrong was his girlfriend, she would definitely mess up. He was looking forward to seeing Mo Chishan and Ai Yang's reactions later. You have a girlfriend? Xiao Yingying looked suspiciously at Mo Baichuan. Yes. Mo Baichuan nodded. Xiao Yingying didn't believe that Mo Baichuan had found a girlfriend so quickly. He must be secretly meeting Mr. Mog. Then he'll go with you. Xiao Yingying hooked her arm around Mo Baichuan's, just in time to see what my future sister-in-law looks like too. Yingying, don't be ridiculous. Mo Baichuan frowned slightly. Xiao Yingying smiled and said, I'm not. Mo Baichuan had no choice but to take Xiao Yingying with him. When she saw Mo Baichuan's girlfriend, Xiao Yingying was also taken aback. She didn't expect the other party to be Zhao Jingrong. But wasn't she supposed to be Mo Kishan's former fiancé? The relationships were seriously messed up. The 3 of them came to the Mo family together. When Grandma and Grandpa Mo saw Zhao Jingrong, they were both dumbfounded. What was going on? Zhao Jingrong smiled. Hello, Grandpa and Grandma. Grandpa and Grandma? Grandpa and Grandma Mo became even more confused. Mo Baichuan took the lead. Grandpa, Grandma, 6th uncle, future 6th aunt, let me introduce you, this is my girlfriend, Zhao Jingrong. The words were like a bomb. The shock had Grandpa and Grandma Mo questioning if they were hearing things. What did you say? Grandma Mo was the first to react. Before Mo Baichuan could respond, Zhao Jingrong stepped forward. Grandma, you heard right, I am now Baichuan's girlfriend. Chapter 693. Abuse Shengguan Furong, I want to divorce you. _1 girlfriend? Zhao Jingrong is actually Mo Baichuan's girlfriend? What kind of joke is this? Madame Mo looked at Zhao Jingrong in front of her, so angry that she wanted to slap Mo Baichuan. Put aside what type of person Zhao Jingrong is, just the fact that she was previously engaged to Mo Chishan, he should not be getting involved with her. Old Master Mo was also very angry, pointing at Mo Baichuan and asked, what's going on? Mo Baichuan, however, was very calm. Exactly what you see, I like Jingrong and Jingrong likes me too. Bastard. Old Master Mo clutching his heart, nearly passing out as he gasped for breath. Break up. You two need to break up immediately. Zhao Jingrong earnestly said, Grandpa Baichuan and I are genuinely in love. Please bless us. Genuinely in love? Madame Emo looked at Zhao Jingrong. If I'm not wrong, back then, you said that in this lifetime you would marry no one but Mr. Mog. And now they talk about genuinely in love. What a joke. Zhao Jingrong's expression changed. Grandma, I was young then and spoke without thinking. Please don't hold that against me. Baichuan and I truly are in love. Please grant us your blessing. Where was the love between her and Mo Baichuan? They were merely using each other. Zhao Jingrong wanted to marry Mr. Mog, and Mo Baichuan just wanted to aggravate Ni Yang and Mo Qixin. However, the usually astute and smart Zhao Jingrong could not have imagined that she had placed her bets on the wrong man. As she said her last words, Zhao Jingrong pulled Mo Baichuan with her onto the floor, kneeling down together. Mo Baichuan subtly glanced at Ni Yang. There was no special expression on his face. Same with Mo Qixin's reaction, it was rather bland. This wasn't quite what he had expected. Were they pretending? From the start to the end, Zhao Jingrong didn't deign to give Mo Qixin a single extra glance. She didn't need to see his face to know that he must be very shocked. He must not have thought that she would end up with Mo Baichuan. Wait, couldn't Mo Qixin be trying to use this opportunity to deliberately cause trouble between her and Mo Baichuan? After all, Mo Qixin still loved her deeply. With this in mind, Zhao Jingrong started to feel a bit anxious. Old Master Mo and Madame Mo, who were so fond of the worthless Mo Qixin, would make things difficult if Mo Qixin tried to cause trouble. With this thought, Zhao Jingrong squinted her eyes, a touch of worry flitting across her gaze. Dad, Mom? Just then Mo Qixin weakly piped up. Did Mo Qixin really want to stop her from being with Mo Baichuan? Zhao Jingrong raised her head to look at Mo Qixin. She knew it, Mo Qixin couldn't forget her. He clearly underestimated the situation, still thinking he could pry her and Mo Baichuan apart at this stage. Zhao Jingrong spoke before Mo Qixin could. Grandma, Grandpa, I know you are mindful of my previous engagement with Mo Qixin. But that was an arranged engagement. I didn't like him at all, there wasn't even a shred of affection. But it's different with Baichuan. Our love is free. We truly adore each other. Zhao Jingrong's words were passionate, so much so that the rims of her eyes reddened. What was Mo Qixin? He simply wasn't worthy of her. It was with great difficulty that she managed to call off their engagement. She couldn't let Mo Qixin hinder her now. Mo Baichuan casually lifted his eyes and looked at Mo Qixin. He knew it, Zhao Jingrong wouldn't let him down. What followed was a big charade. Next second, Mo Qixin continued, Dad, Mom, since Baichuan and Miss Zhao are genuinely in love, why not bless them instead of making things difficult for the loving couple? What? Mo Qixin actually pleaded on their behalf? What's going on? He should be objecting to their relationship, right? Zhao Jingrong was a bit stunned. Mo Baichuan was also slightly taken aback. This was a bit different from what he had anticipated. It must be said, the reactions of Ni Yang and Mo Qixin were somewhat beyond his expectations. Old Master Mo stayed silent, his eyebrows furrowed deeply. In all his years he had never seen something like this. The nephew actually ended up with his uncle's fiancée. If word of this got out, wouldn't it just be a laughingstock? Come with me to the study. Old Master Mo looked at Mo Baichuan. Mo Baichuan rose from the ground and followed Old Master Mo's footsteps. When he entered the study, Mo Baichuan thought Old Master Mo was about to lose his temper. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 694. Misery Shangguan Furong, I want to divorce you. _2. Oddly enough, the Old Master Mo didn't lose his temper, but instead pointed to the chair and said, Sit down. Mo Baichuan took a seat on the chair. With his back to him, Old Master Mo heaved a sigh and then asked, Baichuan, have you really made up your mind? Yes, grandfather, Mo Baichuan replied, I've decided. He never made decisions he would regret later. Now that he had crossed this threshold, he wouldn't turn back. There are so many girls in Beijing, why did you choose Zhao Jingrong of all people? Old Master Mo turned to look at Mo Baichuan. Do you realize that Zhao Jingrong could have almost been your aunt by marriage? In ancient times, this would have been punishable by submersion in a pig cage. By the time he said that last sentence, Old Master Mo could hardly control his volume. But you said it yourself, it was almost the case. Mo Baichuan said calmly, Zhao Jingrong and I are of the same age, she comes from a good family and she has a master's degree from abroad. I don't see what's wrong between us. Grandfather, the past is the past, we have to live in the present. Zhao Jingrong was only betrothed to Mo Qixin. They weren't actually married. At this moment the old mistress Mo walked in from outside. Do you know what kind of person Zhao Jingrong is? She's vain and doesn't deserve you. The old mistress Mo absolutely didn't like Zhao Jingrong. If she weren't so vain she wouldn't have broken off her engagement with Mo Qixin. It's not that Jingrong is vain, it's because my uncle couldn't hold on to her. Mo Baichuan continued, if I were in her place I wouldn't want to marry someone like my uncle either. Who would want to marry a worthless man? The old mistress was so furious that she was shaking all over. Old Master Mo sighed again and then said, Baichuan, are you sure about this? Yes. Mo Baichuan nodded, I've decided. Old Master Mo continued saying, well, since you're sure, there is no point in our talking anymore. You can go now. Old man. The old mistress Mo grabbed the old master's sleeve. Let him go. Old Master Mo sighed again, the fortune of sons and grandsons depends on themselves. Mo Qixin doesn't mind, we should avoid overstepping our boundaries. Stretching out one's hand too far tends to make them disliked. If they end up together, won't outsiders laugh at our family? Said the old mistress Mo. Old Master Mo squinted his eyes. If the Zhao family doesn't fear losing face, why should the Mo family? Today if it weren't for Zhao Jingrong prostrating on the ground and begging me, I wouldn't have agreed. Upon hearing this, the old mistress felt a bit better. Right. This time it was Zhao Jingrong who took the initiative, not the Mo family begging for her hand in marriage. If outsiders are going to laugh, they'll laugh at the Zhao family's lack of discipline. Old Master Mo continued, besides they're just dating right now. Whether they will end up together is still uncertain. The old mistress Mo nodded in agreement. Mo Baichuan walked into the living room and helped Zhao Jingrong up from the ground. Somehow worried, Zhao Jingrong asked, why did you come out? How about grandfather and grandmother? Don't worry. Mo Baichuan said, they have agreed to our relationship. The volume of his voice seemed just right to let Mo Qixin and An Yang hear. What a pity. The two were like they hadn't heard anything. They sat on the couch, whispering to each other and smiling. Clearly their laughter was heartfelt. Zhao Jingrong was Mo Qixin's former fiancé. Wasn't An Yang bothered by it at all? And Mo Qixin, he didn't react at all to his former fiancé being with his nephew. Jingrong. Mo Baichuan turned to look at Zhao Jingrong. Zhao Jingrong looked at him bewildered. What? Let me introduce you, this is my uncle's girlfriend An Yang. Mo Baichuan brought Zhao Jingrong in front of the two. Zhao Jingrong laughed and said, I had already met Miss An once before. The last time in the restaurant, An Yang had ridiculed her quite a lot. Mo Qixin said, Yang is now my girlfriend, you two are the younger generation and should call Yang aunt according to our family hierarchy. Calling her Miss An doesn't sound right. Your uncle is right. Old Mistress Mo chimed in from the other side. Zhao Jingrong had thought that when Mo Qixin saw her, he would be unwilling to let go and cling to her relentlessly. But Mo Qixin had surprised her time and time again. Is he trying to get her attention on purpose? Calling her aunt? An Yang looked even younger than her, and the last time at the Western restaurant they had a falling out. She couldn't bring herself to call An Yang aunt. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 695. Tormenting Shangguan Furong, I want to divorce you. _3. Everyone says that your Zhao family is a prestigious family that attaches great importance to etiquette and upbringing. Now when you meet an elder, you can't even greet them properly. What kind of daughter have your parents raised? Mrs. Mo did not give Zhao Jingrong any face with these words, even cursing Zhao's parents. Zhao Jingrong bit her lip. She knew that Mrs. Mo did not like her, but she didn't expect that Mrs. Mo would be so unsparing. Forget it. Isn't it just a matter of greeting someone? As long as she can successfully marry Mo Baichuan, she is willing to do anything. The day when she becomes Mrs. Mog, there will be plenty of time for them to regret. Zhao Jingrong reacted and said, Sixth aunt. An Yang nodded with a smile and said gracefully, Good girl. Zhao Jingrong was so angry. This feeling of being lower in rank was suffocating. Thankfully Mo Baichuan holds a high status. Before getting close to Mo Baichuan, Zhao Jingrong did some research on An Yang. She knew that Mo Baichuan had offered An Yang an olive branch. But An Yang rejected Mo Baichuan. An Yang was really blind. She actually rejected Mo Baichuan for a worthless man. I wonder if she will regret it when she knows the true identity of Mo Baichuan. By then she'd regret it until her guts turn green. Thinking about this, Zhao Jingrong was jubilant. All the frustration vanished. As long as she could marry Mr. Mog, what would a bit of humiliation matter? What about you? Mo Chishan looked up at Mo Baichuan. Sixth aunt. Mo Baichuan reluctantly called out. Good. Ni Yang nodded in satisfaction, completely uplifting the posture of an elder. Speaking of which, Mo Kishan's family ranking is really high. Going by this calculation, when Mo Baichuan gets married and has children, won't she become a great aunt? Then she would undoubtedly be the youngest, most beautiful great aunt in history. Brother Mo, let's go upstairs, I want to play games in your room. Ni Yang turned her eyes to Mo Chishan. Zhao Jingrong was after all Mo Kishan's ex-fiancée, and Mo Baichuan was suspicious. Ni Yang simply couldn't put up with being in the same room with them. It always felt a bit strange. Sure. The two headed upstairs, leaving only Mo Baichuan and Zhao Jingrong as well as Mr. and Mrs. Mo. Mrs. Mo said, Dear, let's go to the kitchen to take a look. With Ni Yang and Mo Chishan gone, the two old people also did not want to face Zhao Jingrong. The two old people went to the kitchen together. In the blink of an eye, only Mo Baichuan and Zhao Jingrong were left in the living room. They looked at each other in silence. The atmosphere was somewhat awkward. Shall we watch TV? After a long while, Mo Baichuan finally blurted out this sentence. The situation today was really beyond his expectations. His mind was still in disarray. Yes. Zhao Jingrong nodded. After turning on the TV, the two of them sat on the couch watching TV, even though their thoughts had already drifted far away. Just going through the motion. Upstairs. Mo Chishan and Ni Yang sat in front of the TV playing games, and cheerful laughter echoed from the screen. At dinner time, Lin Pingping specifically came back from work to celebrate Mo Kishan's birthday, and she also brought back a cake. Not only did Lin Pingping come back, but even Song Beiqing returned. After all, Mo Chishan was his uncle. Ni Yang. You're still with my Uncle Six? Seeing Ni Yang, Song Beiqing was surprised. Ni Yang was so beautiful, and Mo Chishan had a bad reputation. He thought their relationship wouldn't last long. Who would have thought? Watch your language? Ni Yang gave him a white glance. Call me sixth aunt. Ni Yang is 9 years younger than him. Calling her aunt? He really couldn't bring himself to do it. Beiqing? Mo Chishan gave him a cold glance. Didn't you hear your sixth aunt's command? Although everyone said his Uncle Six is a good-for-nothing, Song Beiqing felt nervous every time he saw Mo Chishan, very strange. And this feeling came from the bottom of his heart. Sixth aunt. Under tremendous stress, Song Beiqing finally managed to set it. Good. Ni Yang nodded happily. Hey, isn't that Zhao Jingrong? Why is she with third brother? Only then did Song Beiqing notice Mo Baichuan and Zhao Jingrong. Ni Yang responded lightly, that's your third sister-in-law. Third sister-in-law? Song Beiqing was stunned. Lin Pingping was also stunned. You mean Zhao Jingrong? Zhao Jingrong is with third brother? Song Beiqing eagerly asked. Yes. Ni Yang nodded. Song Beiqing looked stunned. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 696. Abusing Shengguan Furong, I want to divorce you. _4. Oh my gosh. Isn't this a total mess? Lin Pingping followed up. What's going on? Well, Ni Yen raised her eyebrows slightly. Sister Pingping, you should ask the people involved. From an observer's standpoint, there was certainly no love between these two people. It must be a mutual arrangement. But Ni Yen could only speculate and didn't want to say more. Who knew what kind of act these two were putting on? Lin Pingping and Song Beiqing approached them. After finding out that Zhao Jingrong and Mo Baichuan were dating, Lin Pingping and Song Beiqing were genuinely surprised. Song Beiqing quietly pulled Mo Baichuan aside and whispered, Third brother, are you really involved with Zhao Jingrong? Mo Baichuan slightly nodded. Song Beiqing continued, Third brother, don't you think this is somewhat inappropriate? What's inappropriate? Mo Baichuan asked knowingly. Song Beiqing said, Zhao Jingrong she once had a relationship with Uncle Six. Mo Baichuan remained calm, that's all in the past. Beiqing, don't be so narrow-minded. It was only an engagement, nothing to be concerned about. With Mo Baichuan's words settling the issue, Song Beiqing didn't say anything more, just asking, do uncle and auntie know about this? Mo Baichuan responded, they don't know yet, but I have a way of getting their approval. If Mr. and Mrs. Mo won't object, then Mo Rongping and Xiao Jiao wouldn't stand a chance of doing so. As long as you've thought this through. Song Beiqing patted Mo Baichuan's shoulder. Although Lin Pingping was shocked too, she didn't say much. After all, it was Mo family's affairs and she was just Mrs. Mo's niece. At this point she deemed it inappropriate to say more. After the meal, everyone sat around conversing. Lin Pingping suggested, "The weather's nice today. Why don't we all go to the racetrack for a few laps? Beijing has a large racecourse that caters to the rich for their amusement." The racetrack wasn't far from the Mo family's domicile. "Sounds great." Zhao Jingrong nodded in agreement. Equestrianism is an aristocratic sport, so someone like Ni Yen who hails from the countryside surely wouldn't know how to ride. Thus, she planned to shine in front of everyone. "I also think it's a good idea." Xiao Yingying was naturally playful. Fortunately, Song Beiqing happened to be present today. If she couldn't hook up with Mr. Mog, Song Beiqing was a pretty good choice too. Although he couldn't compare with Mr. Mog, Song Beiqing was the sole descendant of the Song family. Moreover, Song Beiqing was handsome and from what you could tell he had great potential. Having an extra spare tire wasn't a bad choice either. "Yang, how about you?" Lin Pingping looked at Ni Yen. "I'm okay with that. It feels like ages since she last rode a horse. What about you, big brother Mo?" "If you're okay then I'm okay," Mo Chishan said. "Uncle and Auntie, would you two want to join the fun?" Lin Pingping then turned to Mr. and Mrs. Mo. Even though this old couple was not as young as they used to be, they had experienced real battlefield when they were young. Mrs. Mo glanced at Mr. Mo. "Why not join in for the fun?" "Okay," Mr. Mo nodded. "It's rare that all the kids are home today." They all headed to the racetrack. Mo Chishan took Ni Yen to change her clothes. Men always change faster than women. When Mo Chishan came out after changing his clothes, Ni Yen was still in the changing room. Soon, everyone met up at the horse arena. At the arena, Mo Baichuan ran into a few classmates, so they all decided to go horse riding together. Of course, the more people, the merrier the horse riding. Mo Chishan led Ni Yen over from the other side. Ni Yen's appearance undoubtedly attracted everyone's attention. She usually dressed in cheongsams, so now dressed in a sleek riding outfit she looked radiant. She radiated majesty and stunning beauty. She was incredibly eye-catching. In her British-style riding outfit, a white shirt with a blue vest, and a pair of leather boots hugging her slender legs, she moved with plenty of gusto. Seeing everyone was staring at his wife, Mo Chishan suddenly regretted agreeing to come to the racetrack. At that moment, all Mo Chishan wanted to do was to fold Ni Yen up like a tortilla, put her in his pocket and forbid anyone from peeking at her. Xiao Yingying had originally thought she would be the most good-looking one in riding gear, and she had just been parading around in front of everyone, indeed attracting a few gazes. But upon seeing Ni Yen, Xiao Yingying instantly gave up that thought. She even started feeling a bit inferior. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 697. Abuse Shangguan Furong, I want to divorce you. _5. This self-employed woman really annoying to no end. Zhao Jingrong squinted her eyes. This Ni Yang, lacking in ability, sure knows how to play the part. What use is beauty? Can beauty stand in for equestrian skills? The coach led over a few horses for everyone to choose from. These horses were all raised here by the Mo family. They'll take this one. Zhao Jingrong picked a tall and majestic horse, looking towards Ni Yang. Ant 6, beginners shouldn't choose horses with too tempestuous a temperament. I think that one might suit you better. Zhao Jingrong pointed at a small pony half the height of a man, continuing, this pony has a gentle temperament, perfect for beginners. Her words seemed to be for Ni Yang's benefit. But in reality she was mocking Ni Yang. No need. Ni Yang led a black horse by its reins. I can ride. She can ride? Zhao Jingrong felt like she was witnessing a magnificent joke. Ni Yang can ride? This pitiful self-employed woman can ride a horse? You're bragging somewhere else. Before Zhao Jingrong had a chance to respond, Xiao Yingying jumped in. Since Miss and I can ride, how about a little friendly competition? The spotlight of the horse riding show had been snatched away by Ni Yang, and now Xiao Yingying was keen to bring it back to herself. Equestrianism she had trained for. She aimed to defeat Ni Yang. Ni Yang gave a faint smile, looking at Xiao Yingying with sparkling eyes. How do you propose we compete? Xiao Yingying pointed at the racetrack. Well, use this as the finish line. We go through these obstacles, first one to reach wins. The obstacles were set in a U shape. After a full round, the finish line was the same as the starting point. The obstacles were extremely challenging for ordinary people. It could take 20 minutes to finish. But for Xiao Yingying, 10 minutes was more than enough. When the time comes she would certainly shine. Okay. And Ai Yang nodded slightly. Zhao Jingrong's relationship with Xiao Yingying was quite good, and knowing that Xiao Yingying didn't like Ai Yang either, she was happy to have someone else to suppress Ai Yang together, and purposefully asked, Yingying, how long do you need to get through these obstacles? 10 minutes. Xiao Yingying answered. On hearing this, the surrounding gasped. 10 minutes? If Xiao Yingying truly could complete the obstacles in 10 minutes, she would stand as a woman of gallantry. Aunt 6, what about you? Zhao Jingrong looked at Ai Yang. Ai Yang absent-mindedly put on her white gloves. That's hard to say. She hadn't practiced for so long. Zhao Jingrong's eyes were full of mockery. These obstacles weren't easy to get through. When Ai Yang falls off the horse, it will be a fun sight. Are you ready? Let's start. Xiao Yingying climbed onto the horse, looking down at Ai Yang with disdain. Ready. Ai Yang tugs the reins, about to mount, her foot slipped and she almost fell over. Indeed, she had grown rusty. Ai Yang sighed softly. All of this was seen by Zhao Jingrong. She knew all along, Ai Yang definitely can't ride a horse. She's finally going to make a fool of herself. Aunt 6, be careful, this horse is so high, it's no joke if you really fall. Zhao Jingrong eyes filled with schadenfreude. Actually, I really think that little pony suits you. Ai Yang rubbed her chin. This horse seems to be a bit wary of strangers. But it didn't matter, she had ways to control it. At her words, Zhao Jingrong's face humorously broke into a sneer. She actually had the cheek to say that. Shameless. Xiao Yingying had a great start, clearing several obstacles and leaving Ai Yang far behind. Xiao Yingying looked back at Ai Yang, her face full of smug smiles. What's Ai Yang? A country bumpkin trying to steal her spotlight? The horse Ai Yang chose was very fiery, a few times even seeming to buck Ai Yang off, causing everyone to gasp in fear. Uncle 6, aren't you worried about Aunt 6? Song Beiqing whispered to Emo Qishan. Emo Qishan's gaze was locked on the figure on the racetrack. Why the rush? It only just began. Xiao Yingying had already completed 1/3 of the obstacles. Seeing Ai Yang almost getting bucked off the horse, she began to laugh triumphantly. Just then Xiao Yingying felt a gust of wind rushing past her side. Its speed so fast it left only a shadow. The air echoed with the clippity-clop of horse hooves. Looking back in disbelief at the sound of horse hooves, Xiao Yingying saw no sign of Ai Yang behind her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 698. Abusing Shangguan Furong, I want to divorce you. _6. Was that fleeting figure Ai Yang? No way. Xiao Yingying's face turned a bit pale as she spurred her horse to catch up, but the other party was too quick. My God, she jumped over 2 obstacles. She's standing up on the horse. This is too amazing. Everyone had thought that Ai Yang was not adept at riding horses, but this stunning performance was truly a surprise. Even professional coaches might not have such skill. Everyone's eyes were glued to the figure on the field, afraid of missing any exciting part of her performance. Unconsciously, everyone overlooked Xiao Yingying, because she was simply not in Ai Yang's league. Compared to Ai Yang, she could at best be considered someone who knew how to ride a horse. Ai Yang, on the other hand, had set forth a spectacle that thrilled everyone. Emo Baichuan watched the figure on the field with narrowed eyes. It has to be said, Ai Yang was truly attractive in this state. Zhao Jingrong glanced at Emo Baichuan, her eyes slightly tensed. She had never imagined that Ai Yang would know how to ride a horse. And to master it so incredibly. It really turned out to be a futile attempt. Ai Yang greatly enjoyed this sense of carefree thrill, riding at full speed whilst her adrenaline surged. Before everyone could react, Ai Yang had already crossed 2 deadly turns and reached the finish line. Ai Yang tightened the reins and directly jumped off the saddle, her flying black hair gracefully scarring the air as she landed. The entire event took her less than 3 minutes. It far outmatched Xiao Yingying's 10 minutes. Good. Old Master Emo led the applause. In response, everyone also started clapping. Ai Yang walked towards Emo Qishan. This competition was undoubtedly a loss for Xiao Yingying. And it was a humiliating loss. She just couldn't figure out how she could lose to a country bumpkin. After the competition, everyone went their own way. Zhao Jingrong had wanted to make Ai Yang embarrass herself further, but after witnessing this, she dared not act rashly. Emo Baichuan's classmate Shuizhen asked, Bro, what's that girl's name? Don't even think about it, she's my sixth uncle's girlfriend. Mo Baichuan calmly replied. Shuizhen continued, such a great girl, is she really into your sixth uncle? Mo Baichuan did not respond. Yes. With Ni Yang being so outstanding, how could she possibly be interested in Mo Qixin? Shuizhen continued, bro, just tell me her name. Once it works out, I'll treat you a drink. Don't daydream. Mo Baichuan glanced at Shuizhen. Even if Ni Yang had ulterior motives with wine, it wouldn't be about Shuizhen. He always has a way to make Ni Yang feel anxious. Mo Baichuan looked up again, only to see Ni Yang had somehow climbed up and was now riding the same horse as Mo Qixin. Ni Yang was sitting in Mo Qixin's embrace and the horse was strolling leisurely in the field. The setting sun cast a gentle layer of golden light over them, creating a beautiful scene. It hurt Mo Baichuan's eyes. It stung a lot. At this moment, Zhao Jingrong held Mo Baichuan's hand. Baichuan, shall we go horse riding too? All right. Mo Baichuan nodded. Time passed quickly and a month had gone in the blink of an eye. During this time the weather had become much colder. Today Shangguan Farong had arranged to go to the movies with her girlfriends. As she was getting ready to leave, a servant handed her a note. Who gave this to you? Shangguan Farong frowned. The servant said, he was wearing a hat, I couldn't see his face clearly but he seemed quite old. Shangguan Farong nodded, Upon opening the note it read, come to 27 New Village Villas immediately. New Village Villa number 27? Isn't that owned by the Zhao family? What's there? Though Shangguan Farong had initially intended to dismiss the note, curiosity drove her to go to the New Village Villa. The villa's front door was open. Could there be someone inside? Shangguan Farong slightly frowned. She rarely stayed at this villa, though there would be a servant to maintain the place regularly. Perhaps it's one of the servants? Without further thought, Shangguan Farong walked in. The sound of her high heels echoed, clack, clack on the floor. Inside the room, Zhao Xin snapped to attention when he heard the sound. He quickly got out of bed and grabbed the first piece of clothing he could find to put on. What are you doing? Lin Fang was awakened by Zhao Shen's sudden movements. Zhao Shen, looking nervous, replied, I think I heard something. Could it be Farong? Afraid of her? Lin Fang sneered. Lin Fang interjected, don't worry. It's probably not her. It might be the cleaning crew. Get back under the covers before you catch a cold. Okay. Zhao Shen seemed soothed and laid back down in bed. Lin Fang snuggled into Zhao Shen's arms, a smug smile playing on her lips. Why wouldn't the person outside be Shangguan Farong? The next second the door was pushed open. Squeak, Sister Farong. Lin Fang shrieked, shooting up from the bed. Lin Fang. Shangguan Farong was taken aback. Just then she noticed clothes strewn all over the floor. Weren't these Zhao Shen's clothes? How come Zhao Shen's clothes are here? Shangguan Farong narrowed her eyes, a sense of dread creeping into her heart. Lin Fang, what are you doing in my house? Lin Fang turned pale immediately. She got off the bed, went over to Shangguan Farong and knelt down. Sister Farong, I'm sorry. It's all my fault, I'm to blame. Shen had nothing to do with this, blame me, not him. Lin Fang took all the blame onto herself. Shangguan Farong's face grew paler by the second. She pointed at the bed. Who's in the bed? Lin Fang remained silent. Who is it? Shangguan Farong's voice was near trembling. She grabbed Lin Fang's shoulders. Who is it? Through her tears, Lin Fang replied, Sister Farong, I'm sorry. Yell at me, hit me, anything you want. Is it Zhao Shen? Lin Fang nodded. Shangguan Farong was livid. She could never have imagined that something like this would happen to her. Lin Fang dared to seduce Zhao Shen behind her back. And she thought Lin Fang was a trusted friend. This is how Lin Fang repays her trust and friendship. Slut. Shangguan Farong slapped Lin Fang hard. You slut, I'll kill you. Lin Fang took the hits without fighting back. Sister Farong, kill me if you want to. Just please don't take it out on Shen. The last sentence stirred a protective instinct in Zhao Shen. He shouldn't let Lin Fang take all the blame. He's a man, he should be the one protecting Lin Fang. He couldn't be a coward anymore. Zhao Shen pushed off the covers, walked up to Shangguan Farong, grabbed her hand and slapped her hard. You're the real slut. I want a divorce. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 699. It's too late for regrets. One with a slap. Shangguan Farong's face immediately swelled up. She looked at Zhao Shen, disbelief written all over her face. He had hit her. Zhao Xin had actually hit her. During their marriage of over a decade, there was not a single time when Zhao Xin had ever raised his voice at her, let alone raise his hand. Was she dreaming? Shangguan Furong stood there, unable to believe what was happening right in front of her eyes. Lin Fang looked at Shangguan Furong, a derisive expression on her face hidden well enough. She stood between Shangguan Furong and Zhao Xin. Brother Xin, you can't divorce Sister Furong, all the faults are mine. I let Sister Furong down. It's right that she hit me. Lin Fang's position was very humble. On the surface she was taking all the blame upon herself. Yet in reality she was subtly shifting the blame onto Shangguan Furong. Compared to Lin Fang's empathy, Shangguan Furong's domineering attitude made Zhao Xin opt for her. This has nothing to do with you. Zhao Xin pulled Lin Fang to her feet. Don't worry, I will divorce her and then marry you. What did you say? Shangguan Furong looked up at Zhao Xin. I said I want a divorce. Zhao Xin said angrily, I've had enough of you, Shangguan Furong. Yes, he's had enough of Shangguan Furong. For all these years he has listened to Shangguan Furong's decisions. And what has she done? She hasn't been a dutiful daughter-in-law towards her parents-in-law, nor has she attended to the needs of their children. She's been taking his sincerity for granted. No. I want divorce. Zhao Xin, you can't divorce me. Shangguan Furong stood up from the ground and tightly grasped Zhao Xin's arm. She couldn't bear to get a divorce. If she were to get divorced, how would others perceive her? Everyone knows about her powerful status in the Zhao family. Even the old lady Zhao had to consider her opinion at all times. If people found out that Zhao Xin wanted to divorce her for a vixen, how could she live? Zhao Xin looked coldly at Shangguan Furong. Shangguan Furong, this marriage must end. I can't put up with you anymore. For 19 years, think about what you have contributed to this family. Now that things had come to this point, he no longer wanted to hide his relationship with Lin Fang. The time he spent with Lin Fang was joyous, which he had never experienced before. If Lin Fang became the matriarch of the Zhao family, she would undoubtedly outperform Shangguan Furong. Prostitute! Overwhelmed with anger, Shangguan Furong pushed Lin Fang to the ground and started beating her. It's all because of you, you slut. Why won't you just die? Lin Fang didn't retaliate. She just wept and said, I'm sorry, Sister Furong. Get out of here. Zhao Xin couldn't bear to see Lin Fang being bullied by Shangguan Furong. He shielded Lin Fang behind him and swatted away Shangguan Furong. I don't want to see you anymore. Zhao Xin. Shangguan Furong had never been so humiliated. She had never dreamt that Zhao Xin would betray her. Nor did she expect the old lady Shangguan's words to come true. No, she can't get a divorce. Even if it killed her, she couldn't let Lin Fang benefit. Zhao Xin, I beg you, don't divorce me, okay? Shangguan Furong went over and embraced Zhao Xin. I know I was wrong, I will change, can you please forgive me? Get out. Zhao Xin ruthlessly pushed Shangguan Furong away. The gentleness was gone from his face, he seemed just like a stranger, cold and indifferent. Thrust away by Zhao Xin with such sudden force, Shangguan Furong fell to the ground. The pain was such that she could hardly breathe. She was in great pain. She truly was in great pain. She couldn't understand. How did she and Zhao Xin get to this point? When her gaze turned towards Lin Fang's self-satisfied face, Shangguan Furong's eyes filled with intense hatred. She grabbed a vase nearby and furiously rushed towards Lin Fang. Slut! I will kill you. It was at this moment when she finally realized. From the beginning, Lin Fang had bad intentions. This slut. It was all intentional. Lin Fang's face turned pale and she stepped back, hiding behind Zhao Xin. Zhao Xin raised his hand and held Shangguan Furong's wrist forcefully, warning, Shangguan Furong, I warn you. If you dare harm Lin Fang, he'll make sure you suffer a horrible death. In the past, it was Zhao Xin who gave way to Shangguan Furong. If he truly retaliated, could Shangguan Furong, a mere woman, ever match him? When a man loves you, he can cherish you as a gem. But once he falls out of love, you are worth less than grass to him. Shangguan Furong looked at Zhao Xin. The man felt like a stranger to her now. The pain in her heart was unbearable. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 700, It's Too Late for Regrets _2. Get out. Get out of my sight now. Zhao Xin dragged Shangguan Furong to the front door and slammed it shut. Shangguan Furong collapsed on the ground, her face streaming with tears. Inside the room, Lin Fang spoke nervously, Xin, are we being too harsh on Sister Furong? After all, I'm the one at fault here. I'm the one who did her wrong. Zhao Xin sighed. Lin Fang, you're just too kind-hearted, always taking the blame for everything. This is not your fault. You've done nothing wrong to Shangguan Farong. Don't worry, I'll make sure to explain everything to you. With that said, Zhao Shen took out clothes from the wardrobe and handed them to Lin Fang. Lin Fang accepted the clothes and went to the bathroom to change. When the two of them came out dressed up, Shangguan Farong was still there. She sat on the living room sofa, her expression a mix of desolation, sadness and perhaps regret. After being married to her for so many years, Zhao Shen looked at Lin Fang with guilt stirring in the depths of his eyes. If he didn't love Lin Fang, he wouldn't have indulged her all these years. Zhao Shen's changing expression didn't escape Lin Fang's observant eyes. Shen, I'll leave you to talk to Sister Farong. I don't want to interrupt you, Lin Fang continued. You've been husband and wife for many years, don't allow me to destroy your harmony. Bang. Just then, a vase shattered at Lin Fang's feet, scattering pieces everywhere. Get out. Shangguan Farong pointed at the door. Out. Now. Shangguan Farong, get a hold of yourself. Zhao Shen's rage was ignited in that moment. The one who should be leaving is you. Shen, don't be like this. Lin Fang deliberately stoked the flames. Shangguan Farong grabbed her purse from the coffee table and stood up. Zhao Shen. Don't push me too far. Pushing you too far? Zhao Shen corner of his mouth curled up in mockery. Shangguan Farong, those words should be directed at you, not me. Shangguan Farong did her best to suppress the raging emotions inside her, trying not to cry. Get rid of this cheap woman as quickly as possible. I will never divorce you. If you don't have any shame, I, Shangguan Farong, still do. Having said her piece, Shangguan Farong picked up her purse and left. The driver outside hasn't left yet. Shangguan Farong got into the car. Take me home. The driver noticed that Shangguan Farong seemed a bit off, but he didn't ask any further. He started the engine and drove away from there. Inside the villa, Zhao Shen looked at Lin Fang. I'll drive you home first. Okay, Lin Fang nodded. The ride was silent. When they reached the base of Lin Fang's apartment building, she said, Shen, you're not really thinking of divorcing Sister Farong, are you? Zhao Shen gripped the steering wheel. It's come to this point. Divorce would be the best outcome for both of us. I'm sorry, Lin Fang gripped Zhao Shen's hand. Shen, I'm sorry. Sister Farong and I are good friends. I really didn't think things would turn out this way. I was content with just being with you without a title. But I didn't expect Sister Farong to find out so soon. Maybe we should just end it and you can go back to living a good life with Sister Farong. Though Sister Farong has a bit of a temper, she's not a bad person. You are a married couple after all. Lin Fang is retreating in order to advance. The more noble and kind-hearted she appears, the more she could expose the shortcomings of Shangguan Farong. The weaker she is, the more sympathy she will get. Zhao Shen, who had been wavering, now became even more determined. Lin Fang, don't worry, I will take responsibility for you. Zhao family. The car had been parked in front of the villa for quite a while now, yet Shangguan Farong was reluctant to get out. The driver sat in the driver's seat, not daring to say anything. Lady Zhao today seemed a bit strange. Normally at this time she would be out playing mahjong, but not only is she not out today, she's actually returned home. Did something upset her? Zhao's mother stood on the balcony of the 5th floor, looking at the black car parked below. A faint light glittered in the depths of her otherwise dull eyes. After a moment she looked up at the sky. Shangguan Farong turned her gaze to her reflection in the car window. She always thought she was a winner in life. Married to her husband for 19 years. Gifted with a pair of lovely children, a kind mother-in-law, and a husband who always followed her advice. But only now she realized just how thoroughly she had lost in life. Otherwise she wouldn't be left without anyone to talk to when something goes wrong. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 701, It's Too Late for Regrets 3. She wanted to go back and pour her grievances to Madame Shangguan. But the words she had once argued with Madame Shangguan were still ringing in her ears. She wanted to go and seek help from the misses. But those young misses who had been so envious and jealous of her for her ability to manage her husband, would surely laugh at her if she went there for pity now. All this bitterness she could only hold in her heart. It was at this time that Shangguan Farong sadly discovered that after all these years, she didn't even have someone to talk to by her side. How ridiculous. Ridiculous. She laughed, and the reflection in the car window laughed with her. After a while, Shangguan Farong finally got out of the car and started walking toward the villa. The servants in the house were surprised when they saw Shangguan Farong. The sun must have risen from the west today. The lady of the house is actually home at this time. Where are Zijuan and Ziqing? Shengguan Furong asked the servants. At this time the first thing she thought of were her children. She was trying to find some comfort from them. Madam, young master and young miss are doing their homework in the study room. The servant looked up at Shengguan Furong and noticed her swollen face. Was she hit by someone? Who did this? The Shengguan family? Couldn't be the Zhao family. After all, Shengguan Furong was revered like a deity in the Zhao family. Who would dare to provoke her? I see. Shengguan Furong nodded her head and went toward the study room. The study room was on the 4th floor and the door was closed. She could faintly hear the conversation going on inside. Brother, when do you think Auntie Lin Fang can come? This was Zhao Ziqing's voice. I don't know. This was Zhao Zijin's voice. Zhao Ziqing put down her pen and looked out the window. I want to eat the dumplings Auntie Lin Fang made. Brother, do you want some? No. Zhao Zijuan answered. Zhao Ziqing laughed. Brother, you're lying. Every time Auntie Lin Fang brings dumplings you eat the most. And now you say you don't want any. Zhao Zijuan didn't say anything. Zhao Ziqing continued. Brother, do you like Auntie Lin Fang? A child's concept of like is very simple. Whoever treats her well, she will like them. Although Lin Fang had ulterior motives in getting close to them, she at least took some action. Compared to Shengguan Furong who neglected them after giving birth, she found it easier to accept Lin Fang. Zhao Ziqing added, I really like Auntie Lin Fang. Last time, Auntie Lin Fang even helped me review my homework. I wish Auntie Lin Fang was our mother. Upon hearing this, Shengguan Furong couldn't hold back her sorrow any longer. She started crying heavily. Her tears fell like pearls off a broken string. Don't talk nonsense. Zhao Zijuan, being older, was more composed. We have a mother. But she doesn't like us and I don't like her either. Zhao Ziqing complained. I want Auntie Lin Fang to be my mother. Zhao Zijuan sighed and passed the pen to Zhao Ziqing. Finish your homework. Just then the door to the study room was suddenly pushed open. Bang! The twins who were doing their assignments were startled. They stood up, looked at Shengguan Furong in bewilderment. Shengguan Furong was crying heavily, her face twisted in pain. What were you two just saying? I am your mother. Only I am. That Lin Fang. She is just a shameless bitch. It was I who carried you for 9 months. It was I who gave birth to the two of you after so much pain. You two ungrateful brats, do you even have a conscience left? Shengguan Furong's voice grew louder with each word, tearing the books on the table into shreds, smashing all the decorations on the floor, behaving like a madwoman. At that moment she felt a deep sense of desolation hitting at her heart. Nobody could possibly understand how it feels when the child she had carried for 10 months and then given birth to, recognized someone else as her mother. What? Why were they treating her like this? The two siblings were terrified by Shengguan Furong's current state, staying motionless in shock. Their sobs were incessant. Especially Zhao Ziqing, her face had even turned white with fear. Ziqing, don't be afraid. Brother will protect you. Zhao Zijuan pulled Zhao Ziqing behind him. Despite the shivers that racked his small body, he choked out, Mom, we're sorry we were wrong. Please don't be angry. Bad mother. I don't want you. I want Auntie Lin Fang. Daddy help. Grandma help. Auntie Lin Fang. Zhao Ziqing started bawling. Panic-stricken, Zhao Zijuan hurriedly covered Ziqing's mouth. What did you just say? What were you saying? Shengguan Furong grabbed Ziqing, seething with rage. I am your mother. Only I am. Lin Fang is a slut. She's a whore. She's shameless. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 702. It's too late for regrets. Whimper. Zhao Ziqing covered her mouth and cried loudly. Mother, let go of my sister. Zhao Zijuan walked over to pull Zhao Ziqing away. Brother? Get out of my way. Shengguan Furong swung her hand, sending Zhao Zijuan flying into the corner of a table. His forehead was instantly covered in blood. Shengguan Furong, what are you doing? An old voice suddenly emerged in the air. Brother? Zhao Ziqing pulled herself free from Shengguan Furong's grasp and ran to Zhao Zijin's side. Old Lady Zhao pounded her walking stick on the ground. Even a tiger doesn't eat its own cubs. Look at what you've done. Only then did Shengguan Furong notice the injured Zhao Zijuan. Ah! She cried out in agony and collapsed onto the ground. How had her life come to this? Grandma, it doesn't hurt. Please don't blame my mother. Zhao Zijuan walked up to old lady Zhao and glanced back at Shangguan Farong. Old lady Zhao closed her eyes. The child was a good boy. It's a shame he had the wrong mother. Come Zijuan, let grandma take you to get your wound cleaned. Old lady Zhao held Zhao Zijuan's hand. What about mother? Zhao Zijuan looked back at Shangguan Farong, who was laying on the ground. At this moment Shangguan Farong seemed like a madwoman. Her eyes were filled with despair, devoid of any signs of life. Anger clouded old lady Zhao's face. Don't worry about her. No matter what, Shangguan Farong shouldn't have taken her anger out on the children. She had already proven herself as an unfit mother in the first half of her life, and yet in the second half she continued to harm her children. As for this matter, old lady Zhao had initially intended to simply give Shangguan Farong a warning. She wanted Shangguan Farong to understand that the Zhao family didn't rely on her. Yet she never expected that Shangguan Farong would show no signs of remorse. Zhao Ziqing also felt some fear towards the Shangguan Farong from earlier, and held on to old lady Zhao's hand tightly. Right? Let's not care about her. The Zhao family had a family doctor. After examining him, the doctor frowned. The wound is quite deep, stitches are needed, and it might leave a scar. Remember not to eat any cold or spicy food for a while. A scar? Old lady Zhao became anxious. Dr. Wu, is there any way to prevent scarring? The injury was on Zhao Zijuan's forehead. A scar would disfigure him. Dr. Wu shook his head. There's no medicine that can prevent scarring, but luckily the wound isn't big and a scar won't ruin his appearance too much. You don't need to worry. Grandma, I'm okay. Please don't blame my mother. Zhao Zijuan tugged on old lady Zhao's sleeve. Old lady Zhao sighed. Zhao Xin didn't come home until late. Old lady Zhao was sitting at the dining table, the food on it had gone cold. Mother, you haven't eaten? It's late, you don't need to wait for me. Zhao Xin put down his briefcase. Old lady Zhao glanced at Zhao Xin. Sit. Okay. Zhao Xin nodded, pulling out a chair and sitting down. Old lady Zhao took a bite of the cold food. How do you plan to handle the situation with Lin Fang? Zhao Xin said, I want a divorce from Shangguan Farong and to marry Lin Fang. After an afternoon's consideration, Zhao Xin felt that he could not wrong Lin Fang. Just because Lin Fang was kind didn't mean she deserved to be bullied. Are you sure? Old lady Zhao looked up at Zhao Xin. Zhao Xin was very determined. Yes, I've decided. Lin Fang is kind and dignified, I want to be with her. Before old lady Zhao could respond, a disheveled Shangguan Farong walked over from the other side. I don't agree. I want to divorce you. If you want a divorce, it'll happen over my dead body. Otherwise, she wasn't stepping aside for that wretch of a woman. That wretch thought she could replace her and marry Zhao Xin? That would never happen. In just a few hours, Shangguan Farong seemed to have aged more than a decade. Her eyes were swollen and red, and her face was without a trace of color. Compared to Zhao Xin, it was as though nothing had happened to him. This was the disparity between men and women. Farong, our relationship has already come to this. What's the point of not divorcing? I don't care, I'll never divorce you. Having said that, Shangguan Farong turned and made for the stairs. Old lady Zhao sighed. After all, she is the mother of the two kids. The family splitting up was not the result old lady Zhao hoped for. This marriage cannot continue. Zhao Xin's attitude was very firm. I cannot let Lin Fang suffer. Shangguan Farong, unwilling to divorce, locked herself in her room for days and wouldn't speak to anyone. Ever since the situation had come to light, Zhao Xin had become increasingly brazen, often bringing Lin Fang to the Zhao family villa, and would occasionally spend the night. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 703, It's Too Late for Regrets Under. Lin Fang was very good at making children happy. She often made Zhao Ziqing burst into laughter. Shangguan Farong stood on the third floor watching everything downstairs, her gaze icy cold as tears fell one after another. That was her child. The flesh of her womb that she carried for 10 months. By what right did this despicable woman steal her away? Mom, sister is young and doesn't know better, don't blame her. A pair of small hands grasped Shangguan Farong's hand. Zhao Zijuan was only 10 years old, he didn't know how to comfort Shangguan Farong. Shangguan Farong coldly flung Zhao Zijuan's hand away. Get lost. I'm not your mom. Aren't you all just wishing for me to die sooner to make way for that woman? Let me tell you. I won't let you have your wish. Never. Shangguan Farong clenched her hand tightly, turned and walked into the bedroom, slamming the door with a bang. Mom? Zhao Zijuan choked on the word mom, sobbing without a sound. He didn't know what to do. Downstairs, Lin Fang looked at the closed bedroom door and hooked up the corner of her mouth in a victorious smile. A few months ago Shengguan Furong was as proud as a peacock, and now? Just a few days? How the tables have turned. It's her turn to be the lady of the house. Ziqing, do you like auntie? Lin Fang squatted down and looked at Zhao Ziqing. Yes. Zhao Ziqing nodded her head. Lin Fang continued, would it be okay if auntie becomes your mom? Yes. I would love auntie to be my mom. Zhao Ziqing nodded her head excitedly. Ziqing, don't talk nonsense. Zhao Zijuan came over and grabbed Zhao Ziqing's hand. Zhao Ziqing broke free from Zhao Zijuan's grip, wrapped her arms around Lin Fang's waist. I really like Auntie Lin Fang. Zhao Zijuan burst into tears. You're making mom very upset. You're not my sister. I don't have a sister like you. He was after all just a 10-year-old child, and at this moment, other than crying, he had no other way to cope. Zhao Ziqing was frightened by this. She hurriedly went over to Zhao Zijuan. Brother, don't be angry, I won't have Auntie Lin Fang be my mom anymore. The moment Lin Fang heard these words, her face turned ashen. Those two ungrateful brats. She had fed them for so long for nothing. After all, they were not as good as her own. She needed to find a way to marry Zhao Xin sooner, move to the Zhao family's house, then figure out how to make Chang Yu change her surname to Zhao, and enter the Zhao family's genealogy. And then get rid of these two little beasts. Lin Fang narrowed her eyes. The 24th of the lunar December was the eve of the Lunar New Year. Shengguan Furong unusually appeared in the Zhao family living room, dressed up beautifully and even made breakfast. Old Madame Zhao looked at her in surprise. Furong you, Shengguan Furong smiled and said, Mom, I've come to my senses, am willing to divorce Zhao Shen. She wore a thick layer of makeup on her face, cleverly concealing her dark circles and fatigue. For a moment, that glamorous Shengguan Furong seemed to have returned. Being a daughter-in-law for many years, old Madame Zhao found it difficult to let go. Actually, there's absolutely no need for you two to reach this point. Shengguan Furong didn't respond to old Madame Zhao's words, but continued, but I still want to spend my last Lunar New Year with the Zhao family. After the New Year, I will set Zhao Shen free, and also, please don't tell my mom and my brother about this. I want them to have a good Lunar New Year. Old Madame Zhao sighed. Furong, have you really made up your mind? Shengguan Furong nodded her head. Zhao Shen was standing at the door with Lin Fang. Hearing Shengguan Furong's composed words, he felt a little uneasy in his heart. Lin Fang was feeling extremely satisfied. Wonderful. Finally, Shengguan Furong agreed to the divorce. Soon she would become the lady of the Zhao family. At that moment, Shengguan Furong turned to look at Zhao Shen. Zhao Shen, I hope not to see this despicable woman in the final days of the year. Please make her disappear for a few days. After I leave, you are free to be with her for as long as you wish. But right now, I'm not dead, I still have a breath in me. Shengguan Furong maintained her composure throughout. So calm that it was frightening. Zhao Shen sighed, turned his head and looked at Lin Fang. Lin Fang feigned strength and raised a smile. Brother Shen, I'll leave first then. Zhao Shen couldn't bear to see kind-hearted Lin Fang feel aggrieved, and quickly ran after her. Outside the villa, Zhao Shen held Lin Fang's hand and said, Lin Fang, let's endure a little longer. After the New Year, I'll marry you. Lin Fang hugged Zhao Shen. Brother Shen, even if you don't marry me, it's okay. Being with you for such a long time, I've been very content. Hit a snake at its 7 inches, Lin Fang had now mastered where Zhao Shen's 7 inches was. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 704, It's Too Late for Regrets _6. Rest assured, I will definitely marry you. Zhao Shen promised. Lin Fang did not say much, she just said, then I'll go back first. I will come to find you after the New Year. Returning to the villa once again, the tranquility seemed to have returned. Shengguan Furong looked at Zhao Shen and said, before the divorce, I have one more condition. You say? He had been married to Shengguan Furong for many years and he would satisfy whatever condition Shengguan Furong had. Shengguan Furong went on, today is the 24th of the small year. My brother and sister-in-law must have returned home. I want you to accompany me back to my mother's house. We used to go back on this day every year. I don't want to cause any suspicion. All right. Zhao Shen nodded, then I'll let Zijuan and Ziqing know. Shortly, the family of 4 arrived at the Shengguan residence by car. As Shengguan Furong had said, Enai Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui were both at home, and their children were there too. The Shangguan residence was bustling. Auntie and uncle, you're here. Shangguan Shi took the gift from Zhao Shen. Zhao Zijuan and Zhao Ziqing excitedly ran towards Enai Yunyan's sister. If it were in the past, Shangguan Farong would have been very unhappy. But today Shangguan Farong was not only unhappy, but she was also smiling. Brother, sister-in-law. Shangguan Farong greeted Shangguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua. Shangguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua were both taken aback. Shangguan Farong had always made no secret of her dislike of Enai Tsuehua. But today Shangguan Farong seemed like a different person. There was not a trace of scorn in her eyes. During these days Shangguan Farong had thought about many things. She had been wrong in the past. She only cared about her own pride without considering the feelings of others. She was also the one who had been too meddlesome, almost ruining the good marriage between Shangguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua. Farong. Enai Tsuehua looked at Shangguan Farong in surprise. Shangguan Farong continued, Sister-in-law, this is the bird's nest and hazma that I brought especially for you. They are very nourishing for women. Thank you. Enai Tsuehua didn't know what to say for a moment. The old lady Shangguan looked at Shangguan Farong with a heartwarming expression in her eyes. Great. In her lifetime she finally saw Shangguan Farong become sensible. Sister-in-law, I was immature in the past, please don't hold it against me. The past is the past, Farong, don't think too much about it. Enai Tsuehua comforted her. Looking at Enai Tsuehua, Shangguan Farong suddenly felt urged to cry. Enai Tsuehua was such a good person. But she had treated her that way in the past. She regretted it, truly regretted. Unfortunately, her realizations came too late. Shangguan Farong walked over to Enai Yang. Enai Yang barely lifted her eyes. She could feel that Shangguan Farong had changed quite a bit. With a smile, Shangguan Farong said, Can you come with me for a while? Okay. Enai Yang nodded, following Shangguan Farong to the study on the second floor. As soon as they entered the study, Shangguan Farong bowed deeply to Enai Yang. Yang, I'm sorry. Aunt, don't do this, I'm the younger one. Enai Yang hurriedly helped Shangguan Farong up. Shangguan Farong went on to say, I know that a bow can hardly make up for the harm I've caused you, but now, all I can do is apologize. She had done too many wrong things. No one is perfect and can avoid making mistakes, as the saying goes. Whatever happened has already passed, so let it be, continued Enai Yang. We must look forward in life. Shangguan Farong nodded in agreement. Yang, you're right, we should always look forward. Enai Yang sensed that something seemed off about Shangguan Farong today. Auntie, have you encountered any problems recently? No, Shangguan Farong shook her head and denied it with a laugh. At the Zhao family, everyone treats me with respect. What kind of problems could I possibly encounter? Her status within the Zhao family was evident to all. But Enai Yang continued, You seem a bit off today. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. Shangguan Farong yawned. I've been staying up late playing mahjong with my lady friends. Please take care of your health, Auntie, Enai Yang said. MHM. Shangguan Farong nodded in response. Enai Yang went on, If anything bothers you, you may tell Grandma or us. Don't hold it all in by yourself. Smiling, Shangguan Farong responded, I will, Yang, thank you. Thank you for putting the past behind us. After lunch, the oldest Shangguan was taking care of little Enai Yun while Shangguan Shi and Enai Yang were outside building snowmen with the Zhao siblings, Zijuan and Ziqing. In December, a thick layer of snow covered the outdoors. Shangguan Farong and Zhao Shen were chatting with Shangguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua. Shangguan Farong increasingly felt that the old lady Shangguan was right in their previous conversation. Enai Tsuehua was excellent indeed. She and Shangguan Dehui were equals, none superior to the other. How come she had never noticed before? Shangguan Farong suggested, We now have 4 people here, should we play some mahjong? Sure, good idea. Zhao Shen had no objections since he was accustomed to following Shangguan Farong's advice. This version of Shangguan Farong was indeed endearing. If Shangguan Farong had always been like this, they would not have arrived at the idea of divorce. Enai Tsuehua admitted somewhat awkwardly, I don't know how to play mahjong. Shall we ask Mom to join in? She spent any free time studying, leaving no time for mahjong. That's okay, I can teach you, offered Shangguan Dehui, who was next to her. Shangguan Farong smilingly added, Indeed, let my brother teach you. Enai Tsuehua was quick to learn. After one round with Shangguan Dehui, she knew how to play. Moreover, Enai Tsuehua had good luck and won several rounds in a row. Not until late at night did Shangguan Farong and Zhao Shen leave with the children. Shengguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua saw them out. Brother, sister-in-law, please go back with the children soon. It's windy outside. Shengguan Furong waved them goodbye. Watching Shengguan Furong's retreating figure, Enai Tsuehua said, Dehui, don't you think Furong has changed a lot? Shengguan Dehui nodded. Indeed, she has changed quite a bit. It's a good change for Furong. Time flew by. Before they knew it, New Year's Eve had arrived. This year Enai Yang was spending the new year with Enai Tsuehua at the Shengguan family home. They planned to bring the oldest Shengguan back to Jinghua village on the first day of the new year. The oldest Shengguan was extremely delighted since it had been a long time since they last had such a happy new year. At the dinner table, the oldest Shengguan gave everyone a hefty red envelope. Just after they finished their New Year's Eve dinner and were about to go outside to set off fireworks, the phone rang. Today being New Year's Eve, the Shengguan family had given their servants a day off. Shengguan Shi rushed to answer the phone. Hello. Whatever the person on the other end of the phone said made Shengguan Zai's face turn pale. He rushed back into the living room without even hanging up the phone, panic written all over his face. Grandma, something has happened. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 705, Shocking Change 1 In the living room, the elderly Madame Shengguan was holding fireworks, preparing to go outside and set them off with everyone else. Upon hearing the news, the fireworks in her hand dropped to the ground with a thud. What happened? Madame Shengguan asked. Shengguan Shi was crying, not knowing how to speak. From her youth to adulthood, she had never encountered such a situation. What on earth happened? Madame Shengguan's face turned pale with urgency. The more anxious she felt, the harder it was to talk. It felt like something was stuck in her throat. Sister Xiaoxi, don't panic, take your time. Enai Yang walked over to Shengguan Shi, holding her hand and comforting her in a low voice. There's an acupoint on the hand called the Laogong acupoint. When someone is highly stressed, lightly pressing the Laogong acupoint can relieve stress and calm the mind. The place that Enai Yang was pressing was exactly the Laogong acupoint. Gradually calming down, Shengguan Shi said, Grandma Aunt had an accident. What happened to her? Old Madame Shengguan asked urgently. She's threatening to jump off a building with Zijuan and Ziqing. What? Shengguan Dehui and Enai Tsuehua happened to walk in from outside at that moment. Their smiles froze on their faces, as if their blood was running in reverse. Madame Shengguan couldn't catch her breath and almost fainted. Luckily, Enai Yang caught her in time. Quick, let's get to Furong's house. The Shengguan family's home was only 5 minutes away from the Zhao family's, but for the people in the car, those 5 minutes felt longer than 50 minutes, 5 hours, even 5 years. Madame Shengguan cried, When I visited last time, I noticed that something was wrong with that child. She told me many things, told me to take care of my health, not to eat sweets, to take my heart medication on time. I should have realized it earlier. I should have. Madame Shengguan originally thought that Shengguan Furong was just maturing. She never dreamed that Shengguan Furong could do such a foolish thing. Mother, please calm down, Enai Tsuehua comforted. Furong will be okay. She will be, I am sure of it. Before long, the car stopped in front of the Zhao family's villa. The butler immediately came out to welcome them. Madam, sir, you're here. The mistress and master are upstairs. Please follow me. What on earth happened? Asked Shengguan Dehui, his face cold. Although Shengguan Furong was domineering and strong-willed, she would never seek death so easily, especially not with 2 children involved. The butler heaved a sigh. He was at a loss as to how to explain the situation to Shengguan Dehui. Please go up and try to reason with the madam. The young master and miss, they are innocent. They are still just children. Madame Shengguan had cried herself weak and collapsed helplessly into Enai Yang's arms. What sin have I committed that I am being punished by the heavens like this? The Zhao's villa was like a palace with 10 floors in total. Shengguan Furong and the 2 children were sitting on the open-air balcony on the top floor. Zhao Shun and old lady Zhao stood nearby. The elderly Mrs. Zhao tried to hold back her tears. Furong, take the children and come down. Let's talk things over, don't do anything foolish, okay? Zhao Shun took a tentative step forward. Furong, come down. As long as you come down, I promise anything. We won't divorce. Is that all right? Don't come any closer. Shengguan Furong moved closer to the edge of the balcony with the children. Okay, I won't come closer. Just don't do anything rash. Don't be rash. Zhao Shun took a step back. He never thought things would come to this. He didn't imagine that when Shangguan Farong said she wanted a divorce after the new year, she meant to take their 2 children and die. After carrying a pregnancy for 10 months and giving birth. How could she bear to choose death for the 2 children? Just then Shangguan Farong looked towards the top floor exit, her eyes lit up. Mom, brother, sister-in-law, you're here. Farong. And Ai Tsuehua covered her mouth in terror. Farong. Farong. Madame Shangguan cried as she lunged forward. Farong, what are you doing? Mom, don't come over. Shangguan Farong moved back again with the children. There were no railings behind them. If they moved any further, she and the children would fall off. 40 meters from the 10th floor. If they were to fall, the consequences would be unimaginable. Grandma, stay calm and stay back. And Ai Yang pulled Madame Shangguan back. Old Lady Zhao saw the Shangguans had arrived and, as if seeing a lifeline, pleaded, Elder sister, you're finally here. Help me reason with Farong, don't let her do anything foolish. Zhao Xin said, Mom. Brother. Help me reason with Farong. As long as she doesn't do anything foolish, I can agree to anything she asks for. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 706, Shocking Change _2. Ha! Shangguan Farong cried with a laugh, crying crocodile tears. The Zhao family must be wishing me dead so you could clear the way for that adulterous woman, right? These words carried a heavy burden of truth. The expressions on Zhao Shen and Old Lady Zhao's faces changed immediately. What exactly is going on? Old Lady Shangguan looked at Old Lady Zhao and Zhao Shen. Old Lady Zhao remained silent. Shame was written all over Zhao Shen's face. How could they even begin to explain? Right now, Shangguan Dehui had no interest in dealing with Zhao Shen and Old Lady Zhao. He was slowly moving towards the balcony, extending his hand towards Shangguan Farong. Farong, don't be afraid. Your brother is here. He'll handle this for you. Even if the sky fell down now, I would hold it up for you. Will you give your hand to your brother, please? Shangguan Farong hastily retreated. Brother, don't come any closer. If you do, he'll jump. All right, I'm not moving, don't get agitated. Shangguan Dehui halted his steps and tried to speak in a light tone. Did Zhao Shen bully you? Tell your brother and he'll stand up for you. Shangguan Farong's face was streaked with tears. Brother, I'm sorry. I don't want to live anymore, living has no meaning. Shangguan Dehui dared not upset her further, continuing, Farong, you are still young, your best days are still ahead. You still have me and mother and the 2 lovely children Zijuan and Ziqing. How could life have no meaning? If there are any issues, come down first and let's talk about it seriously. If you die, what about mother? Can you bear to let her suffer the heartbreak of burying her own child? Anyway, every man must die, sooner or later it's all the same. When I die, brother, remember to comfort mother. She shouldn't have to grieve for an unfilial daughter like me. At these words, Shangguan Farong looked up at Zhao Shen. Zhao Shen, when I die, you'll be free. Are you happy now? I have been married into the Zhao family for 19 years, thinking I had a loving mother-in-law, a husband who always put me first, and 2 smart and lovely children. At this point, a sneer appeared at the corner of her mouth, and in the end, I have nothing. I am just a fool who has been used by others. A daughter-in-law could be replaced. A husband could remarry. The children could have a new mother. Her existence was negligible. Looking back at these 19 years, it was all like a puff of smoke that dissipated instantly. Shangguan Farong continued, I won't take anything that doesn't belong to me. But Zijuan and Ziqing are my flesh and blood. I must take them with me. They will never be left to you and that adulterous woman. The children are hers. She carried them for 10 months in her womb. Lin Fang is a wicked woman. If she leaves the children to her, they'd surely not have a good life. It's better to take them along. That way they can be together in the afterlife. It was then that Zhao Shen noticed the red wedding dress Shangguan Farong was wearing, the dress they wore on their wedding day 19 years ago. 19 years had passed, but the red dress was still brilliantly bright. Now everything had changed. Just as Shangguan Farong had said, she did not take a single thing from the Zhao family. It seemed she truly was determined to die and take the 2 children with her. Thinking about this, Zhao Shen's heart ached. No. Zhao Shen pleaded, Farong, I beg you. Zijuan and Ziqing are still young, they are innocent, it's me who failed you. Come down, we won't divorce, we will live happily together from now on. Get lost. Shangguan Farong's mood suddenly became explosive. Zhao Shen. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? Stop pretending in front of me. The children are mine. None of you can take them away from me. Farong, don't be rash. Shengguan Dehui walked up to Zhao Xin. Tell me everything from start to finish. From today onward, I won't let you face this alone. If it's truly the Zhao family who wronged you, I will tear their family apart to get you justice. The daughters of the Shengguan family, we would never let anyone take advantage of them. Hearing this, Zhao Xin felt a sudden dread. All these days had passed, he had even forgotten that Shengguan Farong had the support of the Shengguan family. When Shengguan Dehui was young, he was notorious for his recklessness. The color drained from old lady Zhao's face. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.